Hey, what's going on, people? How's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. We're back once again for another Sunday where I hear what you have to say with regard to sister wives, sister lives, and all the foolishness that's going on. If you guys could be so kind, pop me with a one to make sure that I can be seen and heard. And that way I know that I'm not sitting here talking to myself, by myself, all alone, which could be very disturbing, not only for you, but for me as well. Thank you very much. And I see some ones hitting the chat. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. Wendy's Front Yard came in first. Kathy Ferran with the hot second. Kitty coming through. Lizzie B, of course, in the house with the number one. Appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. Welcome to the show. Guys, there's some guys, gals, everybody in between. Look, there's some things that I wanted to say. And to be honest with you, tonight's show is actually brought to us by a caller, somebody who called in on SpeakPipe, which the message is right below here. And you can also call in the SpeakPipe, leave a message, and we'll play it on the Thursday night show and talk about it. But it was something that actually came up that I thought was very interesting. In fact, let me see if I can find it so that I can play it here. So we know we all on the same page. I want to say it was this one.
Hi, James. This is Ann. My sister wives' take is that I believe that Cody and Robin plotted to get Robin into the family as the fourth wife. They also plotted to get.
Oh, that's actually the wrong one. And made some good points too. But I think it was Tina, actually. And in any event, Tina dropped in she had left a couple messages, and I should have been a little more organized. But Tina left a spectacular message last week, and she asked the basic question. She said, "Look, if Cody wants to be in charge of everything, especially like Sister Wives Closet, why didn't he take it over from the beginning? Why was it kind of shuffled off to Robin?" And that's why I wanted to talk about tonight, where I said Cody makes financial decisions that don't make no damn sense. Because that's kind of where we are, isn't it? Isn't that part of the reason why the family fell apart? Because let's be honest, like how many times have we watched somebody, rich and famous, and they'll do something, they'll play their wife dirty or they play their husband dirty, but they make so much damn money that it doesn't even matter. They sit back and be like, oh, well, your wife is cheating on you. I know I drop off at her boyfriend's house every day. She also is worth $4 billion. So, yeah, I'm not going nowhere. Like, you know what I mean? And I think part of the problem that they had, aside from the inattentiveness, lack of affection, lack of consideration, and so on and so forth, is the fact that they were following behind Cody's lead because, he's the leader because he's the man, and having a male appendage ensures that you make excellent business and life decisions. Said nobody ever. We make superior life decisions. I tell you what, if you think men make superior life decisions, why don't you go down to the hospital emergency room on a Friday or Saturday night and take a look at some of these fantastic life decisions that guys are making? If you think men are making fantastic life decisions because we're supremely better off or advantaged in some way because we have the X and the Y chromosome, I gotta tell you, right now, my knees are. I have one knee that's like kind of in a trick bag. It's hurting me. It's been hurting me all week, and to this day, I tell my kids to be careful with how you do yourself when you're young, because I was very reckless with my body when I was very young. You know what I mean? I was doing like the biking and the skateboarding. There wasn't nothing I didn't jump my bike off of that wasn't nailed down, right? Getting in the tangles, having disagreements, and just reckless, And you don't realize, because when you're young, it's YOLO, baby. You only live once. I'm here. I do what I want to do. I'm gonna be around forever. But when you get older, oh, all that recklessness, yeah, That was on like a charge card. Okay, that was like a charge card. Like you run that bill up and you pay that shit when you get older. You pay for all of it. Okay. You cash it in hard. And the older you get, the higher that interest rate is. Like it's insane. So that kind of trips me out every time I hear Cody say that. Because even if you are supposed to be a great leader, in my mind, if you're a great leader, part of being a fantastic leader is understanding your people's strengths. So if you understand and say, in Cody's situation, if it plays out as the show is, like if art is reminiscent of life, if Janelle is fantastic with money and she's good with making business decisions, or she's at least frugal. Like, let's pretend like, okay, she's not necessarily good with making money decisions, but she's frugal. Like, she's not out blowing money on the new thing down the pike or the shiny new item in the store. She's not running out grabbing it. She has that much discipline, which is just basic. Okay. She's better off as a person who's controlling the money. She's better off. Like he puts it on to her, like, oh, she was in charge of the money. No, Janelle wasn't in charge of the money. She was the one who, when at least in my feeling, the way I kind of see the show, and I could be wrong, but the way I'm reading the show, I think Janelle was in a position where Cody would put her over the money so she could see what the accounts look like. She was mindful of what bills they had to pay at the end of the month. So in the olden days, Cody would go out, he would get the checks and they would put it all in one pot. Once the checks had all hit one pot, Cody would look at it and he would say to himself, I deserve to have a motorcycle or a car or a nice shirt or a nice evening out. And maybe some of the other wives want to go and partake in that extravagance. And at the end of the month, the mortgage was coming up short. Janelle would be the one to remind him not only that the mortgage was due, but it's my feeling, and I could be wrong, but it's my feeling that Janelle was also the one who made up the gap. So if there was a gap between what you have in the bank account, because you out blowing money because you got to live the high life, YOLO, and what you need to pay, what your bills are, Janelle was the one who went back and made that difference up. And because she made that difference up, there's a possibility, and this is the feeling I get, especially listening to the kids talk now, that she denied herself as well as her kids certain financial advantages because she was always making sure that the bills were getting paid. And now when Cody talks about he misses Janelle and he wants Janelle back, what he wants back is the person who's going to make sure that those bills get paid, the person who's going to make sure that you're not losing stuff. What's fantastic to me is you have a couple kinds of people. You have people who are used to having stuff, and then you have people who never had anything, and when they get something, they know how to hold on to it, and they're definitely afraid of losing it. So if Janelle falls into either one of those categories, or probably a couple others I can think of, but if she falls into either one of those categories, when it comes down to it, she's never going to put herself in a situation where she's missing tax bills. She's not going to put herself in a situation where she's missing mortgages. She's not going to put herself in a situation where she bills come in and she could possibly lose something. Everything she has to keep. There's also another alternative that I didn't think of right away, but I'll include here now. Keeping in mind, Janelle was a person who, when she entered into this religion, she lost contact with a huge swath of her family and friends by being a part of this type of relationship. What does that mean? What that means is that when she comes into the family, she doesn't have a safety net. There is no, oh, if we get put out of this house, I'll just pick up the phone and call my cousin or my uncle or my aunt and I'll go stay with them. You're on your own. And when you deal with somebody like that, they want to make sure that the bills get paid. And I think that that's kind of where Janelle is. So when she talks about she wants to be the financial person in the family, I think that's what she's talking about. I think that's really what she's talking about. There is one point where we see a lot of this happening. And I will point it out in a moment because, I brought the receipts. There's a point where they were talking about it during the sister wife's closet episodes. Is like tied into the whole Shark Tank, and they were talking about the Brown family was introduced with the idea that they were prospectively going to get $2 million from investors into the sister wife closet business. Now, the way that this could work, that I think that the sister wife's closet investment thing was a bit of reality show chicanery. I think it was I think that it might have been put on for the drama. But if we were to say, look at this and say there's a possibility that they thought that this, by introducing this as we're looking for investors, because this is also a way for you to advertise that you are open to investment. Okay. I think that the way they did it was the investment group, a real investment group that could have gave them $2 million. From what I saw with regard to the investment group, they didn't have $2 million worth of assets to give to the Brown family. They didn't have $2 million worth of assets to buy Tesla stock or Apple stock. You know what I mean? They certainly didn't have $2 million to take a chance on Robin coming up with ugly designs and patterns for some jewelry that nobody's buying. So I don't think that that was real. But like I talk about in my 90 Day Fiance stuff, you do have instances where these couples, and I'm going to use them as an example, these couples will come onto the show and they will advertise affection, attention, attitudes towards people who are watching the show. What do I mean by that? You could have, say, a man will go to another country. Like there's a guy, Gino and Jasmine. All right. Gino will go to Panama, pick up Jasmine. Jasmine, the entire time she's on the show, will try to show her body off, show what she looks like, and talk about how good she is and what a good woman she is. And in addition to that, she'll spend 90% of the time that she's on the screen talking about how sex starved she is and how she can't wait to get it and she need it all the time and she just want to put it everywhere because that's what she all about and she's the freak in the sheets. And that is advertisement. It's not, oh, I can't keep my hands off this man because I love him so much. What she's showing is that when the guys are watching the shows and they see that they think that she's attractive, she's telling them, yeah, if you like me and you want to be with me, I'm a super freak and I'm going to let you do whatever you want to do to me because I'm all about that life. That's advertisement. So using that same logic, when you look at Sister Wife's Closet and the Shark Tank episodes, I think the Brown family was advertising to people who may be interested in investing in the Shark Tank, in the Sister Wife's Closet business, that we're available and open to that type of business and investment. So when they're having these conversations about who the CFO is going to be, who's going to run it, who's going to be in charge, who's going to do what, I think that they're specifically referring to the possible influx and inflow of cash that they think is going to come forward because of their advertisement of these issues. You understand what I mean? So I think that that's kind of where we were. But when we talk about like Sister Wife's Closet, let's listen to Robin. This is early on before the investment opportunity happened. They're just getting it off the ground. Cody doesn't even really want to be involved with Sister Wife's Closet. And to the point of the caller from last week, if Cody was so interested in being the boss and in charge, why didn't he take the reins? Because Sister Wife's Closet wasn't doing shit. The numbers wasn't doing anything. It wasn't making any money. So he wasn't interested in being in charge. And this is what he had to say when Robin was trying to push him to take the lead.
Every time that I've tried selling the jewelry, I get awkward.
I'm not talking necessarily about you selling jewelry, Cody. I mean, anyway.
What do you need me to do?
I just need you to support the situation.
So selling jewelry.
Yeah, I just need you to support the situation. I need you to come in and get this going for me. You know, and I get it. I get it. I get it. But this is what I'm talking about, because Cody takes the position that he doesn't want to have anything to do with this business. I don't want to run this small time, small ball, hobby ass business. I'm not trying to sell this ugly ass jewelry that's not doing anything. I need to be in charge of the big money. I need to make these big decisions because I'm the boss. I'm the man. I'm the guy. I'm the leader. Right? Now, I also noticed, and it stuck out to me because I also noticed that when it was time for them to actually make something of this, make a real run as far as the money is concerned. Like the money was actually going to start flowing into the sister wife business. As soon as that happened, what did Cody have to say? What was Cody's whole position as far as him being in charge, as far as him running things? Let's take a listen to what Cody had to say, because this is the same damn business. You didn't believe in the business 20 minutes ago. It was a hobby business. It was a bullshit business that you didn't want to have nothing to do. I don't really feel comfortable with it. I don't even want. What do you want me to do? I want you to tell these women to get in here and work with me, Cody. That's what I want you to do. I want you to tell them that they got to get off their asses and do all the work for me so I can sit on my butt. That's essentially what Robin was saying. She didn't want to do any of the work. She got tired of working. So she wanted these other three women to fall under her so that they could do the work and she could sit back and just, draw in her office with Cody sitting there rubbing her feet. Right. But Cody didn't play that game up until the opportunity where they thought money was going to start flowing into the business. Now, watch the change in attitudes. That's the part that I love. This is the part where I love the receipts. Let's run it.
When have I been in charge of this family? When? When have we ever not made every single decision by committee? When?
But a CEO doesn't unilaterally rule. He takes all the consensus and makes a decision.
Sure.
How do you not do that right now in our family? You
I
take all the information.
I don't feel like I've ever been empowered as the head of this family, ever.
I don't feel like I've ever been empowered as the head of this family. Ever. What happened, dog? 2 seconds ago, you ain't want nothing to do with the business. Now you're throwing a full-blown kindergartner, toddler temper tantrum over the fact that you can't get to run the business and make unilateral, by yourself, secret squirrel-ass decisions that the wives don't know nothing about. You can't take in, basically, and this is the part where I wish, you ever wish you could be in the room when stuff like this happens? I wish I could be in the room. Because this is the point where I done said, OG3, meeting time. Let's get together and talk about this, because what you're seeing is what's going to happen if he ever gets his hands on some real money. If he ever gets his hands on some real money, this is who he is and this is what he will do. There's a point where you can always, you meet somebody and you got on your first date, they say, like, old Chris Rock joke, that's the person's representative. You haven't met that person yet. You met their representative. And when Cody was talking to us, season 1, all the way through, we were seeing Cody's representative. But in that instance, I'm telling you, that's who that man is. When he has the opportunity, or he thinks the opportunity is there, he is ready, set, and willing to betray everything that he's been laying as groundwork as a family. He's ready to turn his whole back on it, because right now it's not a struggle of this is something we need to put together so we can make this family awesome and we can rise to the top. And as a family, we can grow together, get stronger, we can get better, we can get richer, and we can ensure our family's future. That's not where he is. Where he is I want to be in charge of everything because I want to control the money. He didn't give a shit about what this business was doing, how it was doing it. He cares about the money. He doesn't have a passion for the business. He doesn't have a passion to make sure that people are getting quality merchandise, quality products, quality service. That's not why he's doing it. He's doing it because it was lining his pockets potentially, and he thought he was going to get over. That's what it was. And that's why there was such a huge shift. Like, you can't tell me you didn't see the shift. Well, I mean, geez, what do you want me to do, Robin? I mean, for real. I mean, you want me to be involved with the business? What am I going to do? When have I ever been in charge and able to make decisions by myself? Why can't I do it? This is ridiculous. You guys need to let me make my own choices and decisions without any input from you, even though the business is about you. There was a point where he said he didn't want to have anything to do with the business because it was supposed to be about strong, independent women, and he feels like he's out of place. Yeah, he was out of place until the money started showing up. When Mr. Benjamin started knocking on the door, he wanted to be the only one to answer it. Hello, talk to me, somebody. Tell me something. He wanted to be the only one talking to the people. But now we see something different. And this is part of the reason why I have such a disagreement and such negative feelings towards a lot of the stuff that they push as far as their traditional values and things of that nature, because all that shit goes out the window as soon as the money show up. All the morals, ethics, and values go right out the window. Doesn't give a damn about none of that. So that's the weird part. There's also a couple parts of that of that exchange too, because again, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Let's take a listen to there was a question like, okay, we're talking about we'll pass the CEO question. Then they wanted to talk about the CFO, right? There's a CFO, the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer, who is supposed to be the liaison. Historically, I was explaining this to my kids earlier, so it's kind of fresh on my mind. The CEO's job historically, for those who may not be familiar, there's no shame in it, because the way we do it now, the CEO right now, as is practiced in most corporations, is only responsible to and answers to the board of directors and or shareholders. That's it. Historically, the CEO's job was to liaise or go between the government, the corporation, like the leadership in the corporation, the community, as well as the employees and workforce, labor unions of the corporation. So it had a lot of hats, a lot of people that they answered to. CEOs just didn't come out and make unilateral decisions by themselves. That's not what a CEO did historically, right? But the way that some corporations practice it, they pretend like that's how it is. When you watch TV, that's the way it looks. I'm a CEO. I get to do whatever I want. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, unless you like jail food, okay? CEOs don't get to do whatever they want. They have responsibility. They have a fiduciary duty, actually, to the people that they work with. The funny thing is that had they codified a lot of their family relationships and business dealings into a corporation and into a corporate structure, the wives actually would have more protections, not less protections. CEO shit aside. As the husband, if you make shitty business decisions, everybody takes a loss. As a CEO, you make bad decisions, there are remedies that can be taken. But the next role that they were talking about was a CFO. Now, the Chief Financial Officer, because Cody heard finance and he doesn't really understand how business works, he had this to say about who he wanted to be the CFO of Sister Wife's Closet.
Who's the kind of CFO amongst you?
That would be Robin. Robin's been managing the accounts payable, the accounts receivable. And when I said that Robin is the CFO, Janelle got upset.
I didn't hear my role mentioned. I mean, my name mentioned anywhere with the financial. And so I'm like, well, then what do I do?
And Cody was upset. He was, shit. Because the CFO, he's thinking that, oh, they make financial decisions. No, the CFO is the keeper of the books. They're the ones that make sure that the money is there and the money's going where it's supposed to be. What he was talking about with the responsibility of Robin was actually the COO, which is the Chief Operations Officer. That's the person who makes sure that the business is running on a day-to-day basis. They're the ones that take care of the management of the business, making sure the product gets out, making sure the service is done, making sure the bills are paid, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The CFO is the one who's making sure that, like, even whether it's tracking funds or even in the projection portion of the meetings, the CFO may have lay business plans out and like where the money is coming from, where the money is going, where the money will be. And the thing that I think bothers Cody is that he wants to make the decisions and he wants to have his partner in crime. Oh, I'm sorry, his wife, his mistress, his lady, his girlfriend, Robin. He wants to have Robin as the CFO so that she doesn't report back to the wives what they're doing with the money. So it's her business. He gets to make the decisions as far as where the money goes. She'll become the keeper of the books or the accountant, and then they'll never talk about it again. And that's kind of where it was. And what's even funnier is this part, because I had to break it up. But what's even funnier is this part of it where they talk about the CFO and what he thinks the responsibility of a CFO is.
Am I correct, Janelle, that you're also saying, though, that you would like your unique strength in here?
I'm just looking for a niche that I fit in. I am not creative. I have no desire to develop products, none.
Do you only see yourself as financial, though?
That's all I see. I do have an interest in the numbers and figuring out how it's all working.
But CFO makes the decision on the money.
No, they don't.
No.
I don't think so.
No.
A CFO, Robin, the CFO makes the decisions on the money, girl. How we gonna steal the money if she's in charge of the money? It's not even so much she's in charge of the money. If she can look at the books, Robin, we can't hide the money. Now the crazy part is, and part of the reason why I went through all that, because I wanted to lay a little bit of the groundwork, and it's not gonna go much longer, I promise you. Because I got to get to you guys' phone calls, and I'm excited to hear those. But when push comes down to shove, guys, this is, like I said, this was the groundwork for what we saw in Arizona. This was the groundwork. I know, like when I was talking to Melanie and Kurt from Gnosis Cell 444, they oftentimes talked about like planting the seeds. I talked about that, like even when I first started watching it. I'm aware of people planting seeds of things that they want. So you start to sow those seeds early on, and you just merely nurture those seeds so that they eventually bloom and blossom into the thing that you want. Okay. And what I see here is them putting those seeds into place, because Cody is trying to create, like, you want to have that big expression. I need to have ultimate decision when it comes to things. I need to be able to make my own decisions, and you guys follow me without question. Now, why is that so important? Because we've established that the Shark Tank thing, that was kind of a shot in the dark. That was an advertisement thing. Maybe it took off, maybe it wouldn't. But there's also something else that we have to keep in mind that actually did take off. What was that, James? I'll be glad to tell you what it is. What it was when they decided to move from Las Vegas to Arizona. See, when they decided to move from Las Vegas to Arizona, there was a lot of money that was involved with them moving, because as it stood in Las Vegas, what did you have? You had 4 houses, but each one of those houses had individual people who were in charge of those mortgages, who were on those deeds. Christine and Janelle, those two houses, Cody's name never appeared on either one of those deeds. He never was able to get any money out of either one of those houses. If they would have stayed in Las Vegas on that cul-de-sac all together in the most ideal situation possible, he never would have been able to tap into that money. He never would have been able to tap into that money. And I think that that's part of the reason why it wasn't just the fact that Dayton went to Arizona and they followed behind Dayton. I think that that was part of the decision to move to Arizona for sure. I'm willing to concede that point. But I think that even before that, them saying that they wanted to sell those houses, a big reason as to why they wanted to sell the houses, because Cody and, yes, Robin, wanted to secure the funds from those other women's houses. Why do I say that? Before they put the houses up for sale, remember the meeting they had where Cody called them all into the room and informed them that they were all going to move and they were going to sell the houses, and where we go one, we go all. I make the decisions. Ultimately, I am going to lead and you're going to follow. So I'm going to make you sell your shit and I'm going to make you give it to me. That's what was really going on. And there's a part of this that I really want to focus on when I play this clip. In the last section, I put a still up and I grew the part of the little whiteboard display that he was using, you know, because he might not like to make his own breakfast, but that doesn't mean he can't cook it on breakfast. That's what he told them when him and Robin came up with this with his display or his presentation. But let's take a listen to what he had to say when he was sitting there talking about it.
My rationality starts with this. We have a certain amount of profit in the homes, okay? Shared. I'm saying shared because where we go one, we go all.
If we sell now, we have a profit in the low seven figures. We have a profit in the low seven figures. Let's not forget, Robin had loans out against her house because of Dayton's accident. She had equity loans out on her house. I don't know where I'm about to cuss. I don't know where, pardon my French, y'all. I was about to go français. I was about to go français on up in this mug. I don't know where in the world he got low seven figure profit. And again, this is kind of that point where this guy didn't understand how it works. Like, just because yes, you could sell those houses. If you sold those houses, you bought the houses, they were $500,000 a piece. You sell them. That's if you got all your money and you own the house outright, if you sold them for the same amount of money that you purchased the house for, you would have a little over $2 million worth of money that was coming in from the sale of those houses. However, because, and this is like basic stuff, like I don't understand why Cody didn't get it. Like, he don't know how to make dollars because he don't have good sense. Like, if you if you sell the houses and say you sell the houses for $2.5 million, all four houses, $2.5 million, cha-ching, you have to give the mortgage companies their money back too. So if you sell the houses for $2.5 million, but you owe the mortgage companies $2 million because I suspect they took these houses out on an adjustable rate mortgage, which means on that short-term mortgage, they weren't paying for these houses. They weren't paying any of the principal. They were merely paying interest on these houses. It's basically like a car lease. They were paying interest on the house. They weren't paying principal on the houses. Okay? And if you're not paying principal on these houses, then the only money that you have that could have even a little bit knocked the money off a little bit was the down payment. And there was one point, I should have pulled up the screenshot. There was one point where they were standing there and they were showing their earnest money, how much they were going to put down on the houses. It was $5,000, 1%. That's what also gives me the inkling that this was actually adjustable rate mortgage because the deposits and stuff were so low. So $5,000 a piece, four houses, That's $20,000. That's a good chunk. It's a good bit of money. No money when it comes to a $2 million investment. That's no money. That's nothing when it comes to a $2 million investment. So you guys put down almost no money down. So when you sell the houses, you've only been in the houses for a few years. So even if you had a conventional loan where you're doing a 30-year mortgage, you wouldn't have paid that much into principal to knock down from the original price. So you would still have a huge amount of money that you owe. On top of that, like I said, Robin had the accident with Dayton where she had to stack that money on top of the money that she owed for her mortgage. So, like, Robin was probably walking away, even though she sold her house first because she had the nicest house. I'm going to be honest with you. Robin had the nicest house out of all of them because they put a lot of money into Robin's house. She had the completed backyard. She had the swing set. She had the in-ground trampoline. She had the fire pit out back. She had the hardscape as well as the landscape fully completed. She had the additional room, just like Mary. She also had the, I think she might have had the wet bar. She had the pantry. Like, so she had one of the bigger houses, the nicer houses. So yeah, when they all put their houses up for sale, of course she was going to sell her house first. But she was also the person that was in the hole most with her house, which is why Cody was saying that where we go one, we go all, and all the money is shared. Yeah, it's easy to share our money, our profit when you don't have any. Why are you going to share my money? We gonna share my money? Is that what we doing? Where we go, what? That shit, you can put that in your pocket. Put that shit in your pipe and smoke it. Tell your story, walk it. Because that doesn't mean nothing to me. Where we go, what we go, saying it like it's brilliant and shit. QAnon stuff. Ridiculous. You probably heard it. I don't even know if he knows 100% what it means. I'm not even sure that he knows what it means. What it was referencing to. He probably just like, yeah, where we go off. What's funny to me is that when it comes, and again, this is another instance where you can look at it and pull some coattails. OG3, let's have a conversation. When he talks about we could have this thing and we're all in it together, it's funny to me that when you're struggling, like for instance, when Robin came into the family, she had $30,000 worth of debt. Oh, we all kick in and we all help. And that's how we get by. That's what the family fund is for, because we all work together. But when she gets the money from the family and she buys a house, now all of a sudden we need to start working on our own estates. We need to have our own money, our own separate property, so that we don't really come together. So when you needed money because you were in debt, we all needed to work together to get your ass out of debt. But the second you get your debt paid off and you get a house, now all of a sudden we all on our own and we need to be independent and individuals and have money in the estates to pass down to our family. Like same, when you thought the business Sister Wife's Closet was going to get $2 million, then it was, I need to run this. I need to be in charge. I need to make all the business decisions. And my partner needs to have control of all the books, and we need to be left to our own devices. But before that, what am I supposed to do? We all need to work together. When you get to this point, like same, people, when you start seeing the patterns, you recognize that people are going to do what they do. How you do one thing is how you do all things. When he started doing this, it's consistent all the way through. That's what I'm saying. This is who he is. When he gets to the point with selling the houses, what does he do? Oh, because Robin can't sell her house and make any real money off of the sale of her house, what I want you guys all to do is sell your houses and we'll put all that money together. When they were, I should have pulled that other clip. There's another clip where when Robin, they got to Arizona and Robin's house sold. She made a big production about how she wasn't touching the money and the money was just sitting in the bank waiting for the family. And as far as she was concerned, her money was all y'all's money. This is the family money. But then as soon as you get the McMansion, That's your house. And you don't know what Janelle did and why her money ain't coming up right and why she can't pay her stuff. You don't know because you know how to do a budget. And Janelle don't know how to do a budget. So I'm just saying, like, that is who she is. That's who she is. That was who Kody was. Well, here, matter of fact, we'll do the budget thing. I got the clip right here.
I used to be not so great with money when I was young. I had hard knocks. And then I learned during my divorce really how to budget myself very, very well. You just must have had a different priority of where your money was going to go than I did. That's all.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm good with money. Now that I got all y'all money and I got y'all to pay all my bills, that just shows you how good I am with money. Honey. Because I got you to pay all my shit. I'm good with money now. And that's what we're watching. And that's why it's so, wow, did you see that? It disappeared almost. But that's why it's so weird. I'm just good with money. You don't understand. You don't understand how good I am with money. Now, I understand that you're good at using people to get what you want. There's a damn difference. There's a damn difference. You're good at manipulating the situation and making yourself, you're putting yourself in a position where you come out on top. I understand that that's a little different. I get that, and I agree with it. And to a point, I won't say I respect it, but I understand it. I understand that you know how to take advantage of an opportunity. And with Kody, the OG3, that was an opportunity for Robin, and she took full advantage of it. She played it masterfully. She was able to get everything she wanted out of the situation. And unfortunately for the OG3, I think that especially Janelle, they just got caught up playing the game that they were playing when they first came into the family. I've said it before. I'll say it again, and I'll say it to the day I die. At the end of the day, the OG3 were sitting around playing house, Barbie dolls and house. Kody and Robin were playing Monopoly. While the OG3 was sitting around trying to, figure out how to make the family work and grow the family and had the babies and all that other stuff, Kody and Robin was sitting around trying to stack property. And eventually try to put these ladies into bankruptcy, because that's the whole point of Monopoly, is make everybody else go bankrupt. And that's kind of where we are. Where we are, but or where we were. And I'll just close it out in a second. But I did want to play one more clip where Kody was talking about his ability to financially plan. I just love this clip, so I'm just going to throw it in there because I love it.
When it comes to land and mortgage payments and rent, we're paying basically 9 payments as our family. And that would seem strange to even a polygamist, I think. We had 4 mortgages that we had in the past, and that would seem strange to any monogamist unless they were an investor. Financially, it's ridiculous. Terrible planning. Terrible
planning. Terrible. Most of his decisions were terrible planning. Financially, it was just ridiculous. Ridiculous decisions. It was at best, you could say this dude had a very sunny disposition. He had extremely high hopes. He was living in a fantasy world. But I don't necessarily think that that's true. I think that he just operated from a position of greed. Like, he had a position where he loved the money and he was committed and dedicated to the money, and he was trying to make the money work. And I think that that's what actually led to the destruction, not only because of his infatuation with Robin, but it was also his obsession with trying to be financially well off and be something that he wasn't financially. This isn't who you are. And one of the things that I wanted to point out was, as we look at the new advent of Janelle's business, Taida Farms. You look at Christine and her business, her B&B business, Airbnb business. You look at Mary and her businesses and stuff, and you see where Kody and Robin are. It's not just because Kody is dumb, like, oh, you just dumb. No, I don't think it's just because he may not know how to work with business. I think that it's because he doesn't see the work that's necessary in order to be successful. I said it before, like, you can work all day and all night and maybe not hit the higher levels of success, because success isn't guaranteed. What success is luck, success equivalent. What success is, or luck is where preparation meets opportunity. So you spend time preparing yourself to be able to make decisions, to see business choices, to understand how business works, even in general. And then when you're given the opportunity, like given a show where you can make a ton of money that you never would have been able to make in your life. I said before that they made about $10 million, roughly about $10 million over the course of the 19 seasons as a family. This family was never destined to make $10 million over the course of 10 or 15 years. They were never going to do that. Like, sorry, not sorry. It just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't in the cards, right? But they were given this fantastic opportunity. And the sad part is that because Cody refuses to take a step back and see what is necessary to make the most of this opportunity, he's actually going to miss out on it. Where he was sitting there figuring out how he could live the biggest, best life possible, him and Robin, and they were getting themselves nice and comfortable living this lifestyle. The other wives were struggling, and they were having to figure it out. And there is something to be said about being in a situation where you have to figure your money out, because when you don't have it, you learn to appreciate it. So when you get it, it means more to you. That's why a lot of folks, when they make the what is it? Hard times make hard men, turn soft men into hard men. Hard men create soft times create soft men. So when push comes down to shove, if you have generationally, you have the generation who made it, and then you have the generation who spends it, because they don't really know what went into putting it together and all the sacrifices that are being made. And in this particular instance, you have Cody and Robin, who are the generation who spent it. They didn't really, even though they were working shoulder to shoulder with the OG3, filming the show and doing the interviews and things of that nature, they fully experienced all the money, all the success, all the fame, everything that went along with having a successful TV show. The OG3 didn't, because they kept that money away from them. So now that they've hit this point where they could actually prosper and Taita Farms, Airbnb, marry with the things that she has going on, and they could be successful, I think that they have a better chance of not only attaining more success, but actually keeping a lot of the proceeds from that success in a much better situation than Robin and Cody. But I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. It'll be at the top. Let me just get the doop. Put that in here. All right. Okay. I'll drop that in there. And I will punch it to the top. Ba-doop. All right, there we go. Awesomeness. Yep. And so, just so you guys know, this week I will be doing Monday. I'll have Love After Lockup, little recap, because the season just started. Fresh new season, fresh off the presses. New season just started. Love After Lockup came out on Friday. So I will be putting that recap on tomorrow, as well as I have was it 90 Day Fiance, which will be Tuesday, The Last Resort. Then I'll have 90 Day Fiance Original on Tuesday. Last Resort will be on Wednesday. Then, of course, Thursday, we'll have the Speak Pipe show. If you guys want to do Speak Pipe, you can call in, leave a message. Awesome to do. It's another way for you to be able to participate in the show. So you just call. You leave a message. Well, technically you don't call. You just go on the computer, hit the computer link, hit record. You can record a 90-second message. Give me that hot box message. Let a brother know what you guys are thinking about. Then, after you're satisfied with your message, just send it off. Now, just to be fair and equal to everybody, because I understand some people are shy and some people have business obligations where they don't necessarily want to put their name on the internet. I understand that. Just say, you could type it in as anonymous. Say, hey, this is anonymous or whatever. Don't do anonymous and then give your name during the message, because that, that's like having a mask on and then having your name on the back of your costume. I'm Superman. Why does your back say Clark Kent? What is that about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. But if you want to leave that message, that's fine. Or if you just want to, maybe clue me to something, hit me to something, that's fine. Oh, that's right. This week, guys, I have the Frankie stuff coming out. I'm going to drop a video for Ruby Franks. So I'm going to shoot for that this week. I got to get that out. Maybe I might do a double dip on like Tuesday or Wednesday, like the 90-day stuff. But look for that Ruby Frank video, because I have a different perspective than I think anybody who's been on here has had. And I want to drop that. But let me get to some of these comments. Just Scrapping in the house. What's going on, Just Scrapping? Member for my. All right, Just Scrapping. Woo woo. Celebrations. Just Scrapping in a 1 month. Awesomeness. Just Scrapping hit the $9.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Let me give you a little something. Just Scrapping in the house. For those who don't know, Just Scrapping been around for a minute, supporting a player. So give a little recognize. Give them some recognize. Yeah, Just Scrapping. Oh, and of course we have Teresa Skinner, 1999 super sticker. Thank you so much, Teresa. Teresa's another one been back in a player for a while, for a minute. Keep me up at. Oh wait, what the hell? Okay, I just dropped one out. I don't know what the hell happened with that. Yeah, all kinds of stuff going behind the scenes. That's why I appreciate my mods, because y'all don't know what I got going on back here. It's ridiculous. But to Teresa Skinner, let me give Teresa a little something. Got the oh. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate you. Awesomeness. Oh, got Buggus. Welcome to the click, Buggus. Buggus became a YouTube member. Buggus in the house. Haven't seen you in a bit, Buggus. I missed you. Let me give Buggus a little something. Welcome to the Armada, the My Take MTR Mata. Get it? Oh. Awesome. And I will have a Monday morning motivation tomorrow. I'll be dropping that as well. So for the members. And I will be just fair play. The members will get a little bit of a preview of it, but I will make it available later in the week for everybody, so that everybody can partake in the Monday morning motivations. The motivation, just try to get us on the right track, get that mind right. And some of this stuff, just to be fair, this isn't this isn't one of those internet guru things where I'm like, I'm going to tell you how to live your life. Like, I'm not doing that. What I'm doing is, like, some of the morning motivations are things that I think, because I be thinking a lot. I think about a lot of stuff, especially when I'm navigating with my daughter. And I'll be talking to her about some stuff, and then I'll think about what I say. Usually that's how it works for me. I'll have conversations with people, and then I'll reflect on those conversations. And from those conversations, I might get some kind of insight, and I just want to share that insight. Maybe I understand something a little different or have a different perspective on it from where I was previously. And so I want to share that with other folks, and maybe it can help somebody, or somebody needs to hear that thing. And to be honest with you, there are points where I've said things online, like on these videos, and I've even heard like, oh, he trying to be preachy. He trying to tell. No. I'm saying stuff sometimes because I need to hear it too. You understand what I mean? Like you get into the mindset where you're looking at things and you say, I'm in this situation where I'm not being appreciated. Everybody's been in that situation. If you say you've never been in a situation where you weren't fully appreciated, your contributions, your presence, your the things that you bring to the group, the things you bring to the table aren't fully being acknowledged or appreciated. If you say that never happened to you, you're a damn lie, or you haven't been paying attention. Because I guarantee everybody's been in that situation where they've been taken for granted of, or they've been used, or they've been mistreated, or they're not being appreciated. And I did a message where I was just basically like, look, we have to constantly do evaluations on the people that we choose to invest our time, energy, and efforts into. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because that's what essentially, when we talk about the OG3 and Cody and Robin, isn't that what we're actually saying? That if, the family, even if we say that Cody loved the OG3 when he first married him, he was about the family. And then Robin came in and shifted things when she entered into the family. Even if we take that as gospel, I'm not willing to acknowledge that point, but if I give you that point, right? Wouldn't it be on the wives to evaluate their situation where it is, as opposed to looking back to where it was? Wouldn't that be a good thing to do? And that's that's what I say. Like, that's stuff that I say to remind myself that not everybody, because I'm one of them people, like, I'm very hesitant to let people go. Right? Because I like the problem. I think maybe this might be the Sunday message, but the Sunday the Sunday motivation. The issue that I find sometimes is that I'll look at it as a thing of loyalty, right? And people who are loyal sometimes struggle in this world. Like, people who are loyal, people who are nice, people who are considerate, sometimes struggle in this world because people that they come into contact with don't share that same level of loyalty, don't share that same level of compassion, don't share that same level of courtesy or consideration. And so when they deal with you, they're dealing with you in a way where they're only considering themselves. What's best for them? What's their best outlook? Is this worthwhile for them? And while they're doing that, it's screwing you over, because you're looking out for them. Maybe there's opportunities you could take. There are people who have job opportunities right now today, but they're so loyal to the place that they're working at that they won't take advantage of those job opportunities, because if I leave, then I'm going to hurt my friend, or I'll hurt the job or the business or my supervisor. And I'm cool with them and I'm loyal to them, only to find out, 2 months, 3 months, 6 years later, 3 years later, that this company ain't loyal to you. The first time that they can fire your ass so that they can get a little bit of bonus or a little bit of profit or a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they let your ass go like there's something wrong with you. Like you got poop on your shoe. They let you go quick. But you stay in that position because you're loyal. And that's all I'm saying. Sometimes you got to look at that situation and say, is this working for me? There's something that was said to me a while ago, and I'm just kind of James looks like a CEO. I see what you did there, passive for normal. But what was I saying? There was a little while ago that I was thinking about I just lost my train of thought. Ain't that something? That's the problem with live shows, boy. You be in the mix getting it going. But there was a time when I used to think that, like, you work and you do things for jobs or whatever. You're there, you're 100% in, but then something happens, something shifts, and you realize that these people are not looking out for you. And it's about you being smart enough, wise enough, and aware enough to see where you are in your situations. Situations change, people change, their perspective change, how they see themselves change, how they see you. A lesson I learned. Again, this is some stuff that I learned and stuff that I have to remind myself of. I have a certain level of loyalty to people, and I see people usually for the brighter side of our interactions. I see them like, okay, they're a good person, or they're, and deep down they're a good person. They're good heart, right? But some people will look at you, and even though you give them the what do you call it, the cloak of charity, you give them the cloak of charity, they give you the boot of indiscretion. Okay, they kick you right in your ass because they look at you like you a joke, or you're a simpleton, or you're not really contributing anything, or you're not adding anything. So I'm just saying we gotta work on it. But I got my first caller. Oh, let me get my what do I do with my, oh, there it is. I have all this stuff on my desk from like all these little gizmos. I got Sharon coming to the show. What's going on, Sharon?
Good evening, James. How are you?
Doing very well.
With all of this, everybody, while going back and watching, rewatching kind of thing and stuff, it's just struck me so funny that the little things that we're picking up on, since we know like what's happened now. I recently we watched the part where they were trying to talk to Mariah about, or Leon, sorry, he's about sending, going to college and that kind of thing and stuff. It's one thing him have issues with Mary, but man, to leave your kid out in the cold like that, I see he lost me all the way right there. There's nothing that's gonna bring him back from that one for me.
Right, right. I agree. I agree. I think that as it turns out, oh, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. Can you call back in?
Sure.
All right. If you call in, I'll bring it right up. But I think one of the interesting things about like what Sharon was saying was you have the whole issue with Leon. There were a lot. It seems like there was a lot of missed opportunities for Cody to bond with Leon early on, and it could be because he had such a fascination and such an obsession with the boys that were in his family, like Hunter and Logan, and he was so focused on them and what their development that it would be hard for a young lady. Hold on a second. Sharon, you're back.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yes, 100% better. But I was just saying, like with Cody focusing on like as the kids were coming up, his young kids were coming up. If he's so focused on the young men, Hunter and Logan, it could be devastating, especially for a young person who feels like they're missing out.
Well,
You
when
know,
they were leaving Utah, everybody was, especially the older kids, Maddie and Aspen and them, they were all like, we can't do this. She ought to be allowed to stay. I mean, at that time, she ought to be allowed to stay,
mhm.
that kind of thing and stuff. So in my mind, I'm wondering how much of that the kids knew, because is that why uh, Big G went and did the military thing? Is that why Hunter did the military thing? You're not going to give it to her, then I'm not going to take it either.
Right, right. Well, it could be.
I could, the way those kids have grown up kind of thing and stuff and turned out, or, acted as they've gotten older, I could see that really happening, is they had to be with each other and stuff. But I mean, I've also caught other details and stuff going along the episode where Tony and McKelty came for the gender reveal of Avalon. And then when Cody and Robin and those kids came in and everything, Christine goes, "Oh, the family." So, they all knew at that point.
Right.
They definitely all knew. But I think one of Cody's little slights, here recently, a little more recently, kind of thing and stuff, was at Gwen and Bia's engagement party. He asked them if they were getting matching tattoos.
Right.
And they said, "Oh, no, 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 no," kind of thing and stuff. But they were each one getting one, but not matching. "Oh, yeah, because I think matching tattoos are so tacky." Yeah, that was a dig at Christine and David.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it
You
was.
see it growing right across the room,
Right.
Him and her both, Robin and Cody both, kind of thing and stuff. Some of the stuff that they say on there, whether it's 100% real or just show, it would get them toe up down here in the South. I'm just gonna tell you.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is that like they do a lot of sketchy stuff. And even with the well, because I spent I shared before that I spent some time down in the South when I was young. And whether it's down south, up north, or even out East Coast or West Coast, there's some things you say to people, you might as well just take your jacket off and go ahead on outside.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah,
and meet them on the front lawn because like that it was like between that when Robin sat on Christine's porch and called her a liar.
yeah. See, but the minute he stood up and started yelling, I'd have been like, "I got my phone. I'm calling the law. You can either
Right.
walk now, or they can walk you. You take your pick." Because I'm good. I don't need no discussion with you.
Right.
I'm good. Seriously. Because
Yeah,
I
we
don't
got
know that I would have held my temper that long with him, James, kind of thing. Because I ain't the one. Today ain't today, and tomorrow ain't looking no better.
right. Right.
It
Like, oh,
need to
I
get
get
really, really real.
right. I give you the phone. You can call the guy you think you're talking to, but
Exactly. You
but
take her and go on back to the house and talk to her any way you want to, but you ain't talking to me like that. No.
right. Certainly not in my
Yeah.
house.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Not even on my back porch. Thank you.
Right. Not the place I'm paying for. I pay rent here. Like you're not gonna come in and disrespect me on my spot. So
No.
yeah, and I
No.
agree with you. Like some of that stuff, like look, cause this be the last thing you do without handcuffs on if you don't get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
You need to shake it on off.
Handcuffs, cast, whatever it takes, James.
Mhm. Because it's just crazy. And then you have the of course we got the preview coming out with with Robin sitting on the couch talking to Suki, talking about these women need to keep my name up out their mouth. Look,
Yeah.
I
Then you
don't know.
need to keep my money out your pocket, heifer. How
Right,
about that?
exactly. Of course I'm gonna talk about you. As long as you owe me money, I'm gonna talk about your ass all day long.
And
All
night.
day long.
Day and
All
night.
day.
Thank
Right?
you. Yep. You give me my money, and girl, I promise I won't say your name ever again.
Right.
You got my word right there.
Right. I won't
and
need
and
to.
and contrary to you, my word means something. I'm just gonna say it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
because
I
that
mean,
stuff is
and
crazy.
I'm just gonna say it. They're doing a disservice to Robin's kids too,
Hmm.
keeping them in the dark, shutting them out, being the helicopter mom, not letting them, make decisions on their own, or that at this point they all feel like they have to go to them for whatever it may be, kind of thing and stuff. They're doing as much of a disservice to them as they did to the OG kids.
Right.
I mean, and nobody's a perfect parent, and we all make mistakes and everything, but it is pretty obvious.
Yeah. Well, because even with that, like, I would just say that if you hide your kids back and you put them in that situation, the only thing you're doing is prepping them for somebody else to come in there and take advantage of them. That you're
Yeah,
not protecting them at all. Like you are setting them up because there are plenty of people. I even say that not even to be too crass about it, but when they were doing the whole like sex ed conversation or whatever, I was saying it then. Like as a parent, you do yourself and your kids a disservice if you are talking to them about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees and all the stuff that's in between. Because if you're not talking to them about it, I 100% guarantee you. that especially these young ladies, there will be a boy at that school talking to your child about what it is and what it don't do. I
Yeah.
guarantee you. And
Well,
the
and when
problem
they
is
had
them
that
telling the wrong thing.
exactly when they had that conversation kind of thing, that thing goes both ways. They sit there in one of those where they answered questions and stuff, and they're talking about what the girls are wearing or what they're looking like or what they're too short or too low or whatever kind of thing. And then Robin asks Hunter, well, what if a girl's dressed like that? Well, if it looks good, it looks good. Don't you think we ought to straighten him out too?
Hmm.
Don't you think that, that's probably not the kind of girl that you really want to,
Right.
start a relationship with? So it goes both ways. But to sit there and have that conversation that she did in their quote unquote, and I'm air quoting here, uh, church service kind of thing and stuff, and her telling that and about having the heart in her hand and throwing it on the ground and giving all that and stuff. Now, I just felt so bad for Dayton because I'm
Yeah.
just thinking, yes, we all make mistakes kind of thing and stuff, but the to do it that way kind of thing and stuff, there's some things that need to be discussed out in the open, and there's some things that needs to be discussed behind closed doors.
Right.
And so putting that out there, not only within that whole group of their whole family, but out there in front of all of us and the whole world to see. And it makes me wonder if that part of that and the whole way this things went down and stuff is why Dayton don't want to be on it or be discussed on it anymore.
Hmm.
But like I
Nah,
said, they're not doing her kids, the Robin and Cody's kids, any more justice than they did the OG kids.
nah, yeah. Well, because the thing is that the OG 13, they at least had the opportunity to have their parents, like their mom, I'm calling it the parents. I guess technically they were the parents because they were one dealing with them. But they had the opportunity to have their moms kind of offset a lot of what Cody and Robin were doing.
Yeah.
In Robin's house, you don't have that protection because Cody just turns it over to the mom. You raise the kids, and then Robin left her own devices is kind of doing what she did. And I think that you know what I mean. That's kind of where it's falling apart.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he left it to them kind of thing and stuff. But then when they don't want to come back around him because he wasn't ever there, well, what does that say to you, dude? I mean,
Hmm.
it's okay for them to raise them as long as they're doing what he wants them to do. When it come to the COVID stuff, if they wasn't gonna listen to him, then of course we all know, like I said, that was just as much Robin's rules as it was Cody's.
Right, right.
I mean,
Well, because you know what, there is a clip, and I will pull that clip up. There is a clip before the rules took place where Robin had said that maybe we shouldn't get together anymore,
yeah,
and
it's
she was
when they were
talking
all
about
yeah, she was sitting in the car.
right,
She was
right.
sitting in the car, all four screens. I mean, all the five screens was took up with all of them talking and stuff. And she was sitting in the car saying, "You really think it's safe for us? You really think we ought to be doing it?" Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that whole thing was her because she had even said that I don't think that we should get together anymore because Solomon had this, that, and the other, and he wasn't in a good situation. So it was already laid out, and
Oh
you
yeah.
can't like even if I gave them the benefit of the doubt and said that Robin didn't sit down and write the rules out. I'm under zero impression that Robin can't go to you and start filling your head with the reasons as to why you should do it. And she just says all she has to do is tell you, well, I don't think we should all get together. And it probably wouldn't make sense if the other family members met because then my kids are isolated. And you should probably be the only one because you're the one who's healthy and responsible. So you should be the only one going to all the houses. That whole thing didn't make sense. And even when Cody came back and said, oh, I spoke to the doctor and this is what the doctor told me. If a doctor told you that you can go from house to house to house and you'll be fine because that lowers the possibility that you'll spread something, then you need to get another doctor because that's not how contagions work. If
Exactly.
if I go to your
Exactly.
house and you got the flu, then and I catch the flu, then I go to my house, give everybody in my house the flu. Then I go to my dad's house, give him the flu. Then I go to my brother's house, give him the flu. I'm the super spreader. That's all that what
Exactly.
it did. You know,
Yeah.
so it was yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
doctor.
and it's been that way all along. It's been that
Mm,
way from day one with her coming into that family. Listen, I don't know nobody that does polygamy, and it doesn't appeal to me, kind of thing. It's not my thing. But just watching human nature in this, to me, it's sort of become, in my mind, it's become the soap operas that used to be on that they took off the air. Because that's what I mean, the entertainment value of it, and just saying, dang, how crazy can y'all be? But even back as far as the wedding dress and stuff, I mean, she was lying then. And she says, I
mm,
didn't think it was important for y'all to know that. Well, then that tells you, girl, that what you're doing is wrong. If
right,
you have to lie about it, it's wrong. I mean, and then, and keeping her kids isolated. When they went on that 11-day honeymoon, they sure didn't leave them kids with them. They had to call her and ask if they could go to her mom to pick them up to take them out on that little trip
right,
out to go camping or go cook out or whatever. All of that. So she was doing that just as much, it causing that rift in between, and her kids not feeling a part of that just as much as anybody else was, if not more.
right, right.
I mean,
Well,
if she
because
didn't
it's
like the way they raised kids, then she shouldn't have brought her kids up in that family. How about that?
right. You would think, or
I
more to the
mean,
point, you introduced them. You brought them in. Like it's your fault. Like if you want to start pointing fingers, it's on you. You
exactly,
know?
exactly. Well, see, the dollar signs rolled up in her eyeballs too, wasn't she? Wasn't concerned about how her kids was going to be done or anything else like that. And it was like Maddie said, you can't ask just the OG-13 to be changing. Them other kids has got to change too,
Hmm.
because it's a change for everybody.
Right, right.
But anyways, I enjoy watching the show and I enjoy listening to your show, James. So,
Oh, I appreciate it. I
because
appreciate it.
like I say, I'm about just back like you, James. I like to keep it real.
Right, right,
Right? Yep. So
right.
let's hear it now, Miss Robin. What does the nanny do? Whatever Robin tells her to do.
Right, exactly,
What does
exactly.
Cody do? Whatever Robin tells him to do.
Right,
Yep. And they'll keep your name out their mouth when you give them their money back. That's all he is
right,
to it.
exactly, exactly.
All right,
And then
James.
you have a good one.
You too, James. Have a good one.
Thanks for calling in.
Bye bye.
Bye. And that's excellent points. Excellent points. Oh, yeah. My system is running slow. I don't know what's going on. All kinds of problems. But look, I'm gonna tell you, I agree with Sharon. Like when rubber meets the road, you can only push people so far. You can only expect so much from them. If Robin wants certain things, like you don't want people talking bad about you, do the right thing. That's what it is. Do the right thing. And people won't have anything bad to say about you. Or if people want to talk about you, people gonna talk about you. That's their business. And you just keep it pushing. But forget that. We got another caller in the queue. Of course, we have the one, the only. Where's my thing at? I'm gonna have to open up another screen, maybe. Hold on one second, guys. I'm having a little TD. That's a technical difficulties. And it's still having technical difficulties. This is weird. Not sure what is happening. All right. Okay. This is super crazy. Okay. I think that worked. We'll see. Nope. All right. We're gonna bring if I can get it going. Brittany, not Brittany in the house. What's going on?
Hey James, how are you?
Doing well. Doing well. How's it going?
Pretty good. I literally just got off work and I got on the live, and then the previous caller, she was talking about Robin and the COVID rules, and I was like, you know what? I've been sitting on something because I so my fiance and I got him watching it, and so he's watching the first, he's watching it all the way through for the first time, and we
Okay.
got to the part, we're at the COVID season, and he's like, we binged it and we got to this part, and he was like, I got to do this in spurts. He's irritated me. But But so we're at the part where I'm sorry, I just realized I had my radio up. Um we got to the part where, you know, Cody out of nowhere is just like, "Oh, these are the rules that the nanny is following."
Mm,
And Mary makes a joke about, like, "I love how he hands you the paper as if you don't know these rules." And then Robin gets mad and pops off, and she's like, "Can please everybody stop suspecting me as, da da da."
right,
And you're like, okay, even if you didn't create the rules, this is your damn nanny. To come into your home, she has to do X, Y, and Z. Of course you know what those rules are. That's that's dumb. It's your
right,
nanny. What are we even doing? Why why are you like this? This is why nobody likes you. Because you're she's completely disingenuous. And you're just like, how? That please make that make sense. It doesn't. And then Notes to Self 444, she was on, her and Corey did, um they've been reacting to the first season, or like the first
mm,
two seasons so far. They're going back and rewatching and giving their opinions. And one of the things that they brought up was the episode where they were going to have the friends over for the friends that stuck by them when they came out, and they were going to have that dinner, and Robin got mad and she like threw the table.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they were talking about how, Cody got mad at Christine because Christine didn't get the boys to shovel Robin's driveway. Oh no.
hello,
Hello, can you hear me?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, sorry. It tried to connect to Wi-Fi and then it didn't work. Sorry. So Cody was mad at Christine because Christine didn't have the boys shovel Robin's driveway. And what's interesting to me is it's Robin getting Cody to do her dirty work, and then Cody getting one of the wives to do his dirty work on behalf of Robin. So
right,
in
right,
that situation, Robin needed her driveway shoveled. Instead of calling Janelle herself and being like, "Hey, can I borrow Hunter or Logan to come shovel the driveway whenever they're finished doing whatever chores they need to do for Janelle?" She tells Cody. And then Cody's like, "I don't want to deal with the drama of them, like, catching attitude about having to go over there. So I'll get Christine to do it."
mm,
And then fast forward to COVID, Robin wants everybody to stay separate because since she got to stay separate, you know, you know, everybody else got to stay. Like, how dare y'all have fun while we're not there? So
right,
instead of saying like, "Hey, I'm really scared of this. I would love it if we could all just quarantine and figure out a way. Let's all communicate about what precautions we want to take. Let's all collaborate and see what we can do together and see how we can get the family together." Instead of doing that, she tells Cody that, "Oh no, you got to get these people under under control because they're going to kill my child."
right,
And then Cody, instead of talking to everyone, going like, "We have some," you don't even have to say Robin. You can just like, "Look, we have some people in the family that are scared about this. If we could just have some compassion, some empathy, and, do what we can to help the other people in the family who may not be as brave as everybody else." Because that was a scary time. I will give Robin that. That was a scary time. If we could do that, instead of talking to every single person in the family, because he is the leader, he's a leader, he decides to tell Janelle and Christine to tell their kids so that way he doesn't have to be the bad guy. And then he's mad because he ends up being the bad guy and nobody wants to listen to him. It is just like, okay, well, if you're the leader, then you have to lead. But
right,
Cody doesn't want to lead, which goes back to what you're talking about with the finances to begin with. Cody wants everything just snap of the finger. He doesn't want to work for anything. He didn't want to put in the effort to get his children to actually respect him as a man and as a father. And he doesn't want to put in the work to be an actual person who can make a successful business.
No, I agree with
And
that.
that's my
I
rant.
agree with that. No, no, I'll say this. I think that there's a point where relationships matter,
Mm-hmm.
and when you and it's again, it ties back into the whole idea of like the business thing where I was talking earlier about like luck and success isn't really just like by happenstance. All it really means, or at least what it means to me, is where preparation
Mm-hmm.
meets opportunity. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to do the work, and you do the work whether it pans out or not. And then
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you're given the opportunity to where all your hard work kind of pays off and cashes out.
Mm-hmm.
With that, you look at like the whole thing with over at the baby shower, like you said, where he was out there shoveling. And oh, I
Mm-hmm.
told you to tell the kids, dude, I'm about to cuss. But dude, you're their father.
Mm-hmm.
You pick up the phone and tell your sons to shake their ass over to Robin's house, grab a shovel, and get out there and start shoveling. You ain't
Right.
daddy. You have just as much right, if not more, because technically he wasn't even asking Christine to get her kids. He was asking
Mm-hmm.
Christine to get Janelle's damn kids.
Mm-hmm.
You call your children up and you say, guys, this is what I need you to do. And but that also, like even that to the COVID requirements, all that requires you to do the hard work of having that relationship throughout. So that way when you pull on that relationship and you pull that cord and say, guys, this is what I need you to do. This is what I want you to do. If
Mm-hmm.
you have that relationship present, then it makes it a lot easier. But if you're the dude, even though you guys share the similar or same DNA,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you contributed to their DNA pattern. Even though that's the case, if you haven't been talking to these young men for months
Mm-hmm.
and months and months because you don't have a relationship with them, then yeah, it might be a little difficult for you to tell them to abandon their girlfriends, their friends, their family, their work, and everything else to do what you tell them to do. You just
Mm-hmm.
some stranger that's giving them instructions or
Exactly.
making suggestions.
You don't live here. You don't run
Mm,
nothing here. I don't like when he was talking to Gabe and Garrison, he's just like, well, who's gonna take care of your mom when she gets sick? And Garrison was just like, me, because I live
right,
in this freaking house. You're not gonna be here. And you know what? When Janelle got COVID, where was Cody's
like,
ass?
guess who took care of them?
Exactly.
Yeah, check written, check cash. Guess who took care of him?
Right.
It was Garrison and Gabriel who took care of Cody. And
What
part of it too was they said like even Janelle, she said at the time like, well, I wasn't gonna have him come over and get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a point where I don't even know if he would have showed up, and that's the sad part about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, cause he didn't drop everything and go over there and sit with Janelle.
Mm-mm.
He, you know,
He did,
it's sad.
but then he wanted her to leave her vacation early to come sit up there and take care of his ass
Yeah, buddy.
because Robin was laid up.
Like, I tell you what, I'll be damned.
I,
If I if I if if you gave me a hard time for years trying to tell me I gotta kick my kids out of the house
mm-mm,
so you can stop by once in a while and eat a damn peanut butter sandwich on
mm-mm.
my couch before you go over to somebody else's house, the place where you really want to be, and you push me all these ways. The one time I get to go do something for myself and you try to cut it short,
You know
look,
what? I'm coming back and I'm putting you in a coma. Don't don't ask me to do
mm,
nothing. Don't
I tell you,
don't do it.
I, I'd have told him go ahead. I tell you what, Cody, you go ahead downstairs. You open that front door because I'm on my way. And
Absolutely.
I'll tell you something else. The devil will have on a pair of snow skis before I get
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm. You better hold your
Oh,
breath.
that, yeah, right,
Hold your breath. You having a hard time breathing anyway. This should be easy.
right.
Okay?
You'll be fine.
You'll
When you
be
lose consciousness, wash, rinse, repeat. You'll be okay.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way in the
Cause,
world.
'cause why? And then that's again is like it's Cody being a leader. Like if you're in management, you have to you have to be someone who encourages your employees or your subordinates or whatever you want to call them. You have to encourage them. You have to take the heat when stuff doesn't go right. Cody doesn't want to do any of that. When when they were out there shucking those trees and Gabe was like crying, Cody was like, I feel like the good thing, a father would do would be to go and like console him and tell him I love him, but I just can't. And you're just like, you can't tell your child you love them? You
Right, right.
you can't, sir. Why do you get on TV and make an absolute ass of yourself week after week? You could have kept that in the drafts.
Right.
That could have what none of us needed to hear any of that. And least of all Gabe. Gabe did
Mm.
not need to hear that his dad was just like, I didn't want to tell him I love him. Are sir,
Yeah, right after he
please.
missed his birthday. That was when he missed his birthday, right?
I think that was before because he hadn't gotten
Oh,
sick
okay.
yet. That was when they were saying that was when he was like, well, what if mom gets sick? It was that same conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
then,
then he
then right
goes
after that
out
he
to
missed
miss
his
his
birthday.
birthday. Yeah.
Yeah,
And so then Gabe sees that, months later on national television. Like, why would you say Cody's problem is that he can't be honest about the stuff that regular human beings could just be, could have the humility to be honest and gracious and say, oh, I messed up. He doesn't have that honesty within him. His only
mm,
honesty is being an absolute dick to everybody around him. And I don't know why, because he's so insecure. He wants everybody to like him. So it's just like, if you're gonna be an ass, but just know that nobody likes you. But you can't sit here
right,
and try to be like, oh, everybody hates my love story with Robin, and you only see me, a few Sundays. You see 10 hours of my life. Meh, meh, meh. But okay, well then just be the villain. Be the villain, but he wants a redemption arc without doing any of the work for the redemption. Like I.
right, right. Well, he wants the peace, he wants the notoriety, and he wants the adoration. But he,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, he doesn't want to do. And then, again, this goes back to what I was saying about even how you do one thing, how you do all things.
Exactly.
How he was building with his kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to build this rapport. You want this instant cash out payout from the fans to look at you like you're this wonderful, kind-hearted man, but you don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do the necessary work. There's
Right.
prerequisites to this. It's not
Mm-hmm.
just you come on because you're on TV and say, I'm a good guy. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. This is what you teach your kids. Like if you have a daughter and she's going to go out on dates and stuff, every guy's going to say he's a nice guy. Every guy's going to say he's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. If he says something to the effect of, "Oh, I never put my hands on folks," or "I never leave," because if he feels the need to say that shit, you probably should be going anyway.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Because there's
Right
a
on the
charge
rip.
somewhere down the line, and you're not
Right.
gonna catch another one with me. So.
Exactly. He's letting you know what's coming. That's just like, oh, I'm not gonna. But that's basically what I'm watching Cody do. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if you have to get on TV and tell me that you're a great dad, and your kids can't say, I want to hear from your kids. I want to hear your kids come out and say, oh, he's a great father. Oh, he was
Mm-hmm.
always there for me. Oh, he always listened to me. You should
Mm-hmm.
be sitting there playing. No, no. It wasn't that I'm a great father. I just did what I was up because that's what you're supposed to damn do. You don't
Right.
get credit because you listen to your kids. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna pat you on the back and kiss your ass because you actually took time out for your children. That's what you're
Mm.
supposed to do. You know what I mean?
You know what? And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna jump off because I know there's more people wanting to like say their piece. Even Robin's kids can't really say or have never said that Cody's a good dad. Like if you
Mm,
listen to them talk now, they're like, oh yeah, I can talk to him about stuff, but he gets really opinionated and kind of scary.
right.
Like there's no like, oh yeah, I can talk to my dad about. There's always a caveat to how Cody is as a dad. Even with like when the kids were younger, they would say stuff, but they were like, oh, but he's busy. Oh, yeah, he's a fun dad, but I don't really see him all that much. There's always a but with Cody. Like, his actions don't just stand for themselves.
Mm.
And
No, that's an excellent point.
that's a shame for him to
Right,
bring in all these kids into the world and just be a sad sack of a human being.
right,
It's just
right. Well, because
just a
even with
shame.
that, like you said, with Robin's kids, the fact that
Mm-hmm.
they're the kids who technically, I don't want to be an asshole about it, but I guess I'm gonna have to be. Look, when push comes down to shove, these are the kids that he actually spent time with, and the kids that he actually invested in.
Mm-hmm.
Robin's kids are the ones that he was around, and he actually made an attempt
Mm-hmm.
to be a good dad to these kids. And like you pointed, it says a lot. Like you pointed out, when the kids talk about the kids that he actually invested in, say,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, he's scary. Oh, I
Mm-hmm.
talk to him, but he's intense," and they say things of that nature. And these are the kids you actually tried. That says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's not the kids who, they might, maybe they just got you misunderstood. They don't really understand you. These are the kids you spend a majority of your time with.
Mm-hmm.
Even they say, like, I don't know about this dude.
I
Like, this
my
shit is shaky.
my sister, because I was the good child. I was not, but I'm gonna tell the story about my sister. My sister, when she was 13 years old, she wanted to go to dance, and I had like a choir thing after school, and she was like, "I just need to get to dance." So she drove. She got in the car and drove my dad's car in the parking
Mm,
lot, almost hit somebody else's car, and hit a pole.
damn.
And she was not scared of my dad, like at all. I mean, like, obviously she's like, ugh, I done
Yeah,
get
yeah.
like I'm finna get in trouble. But even the way she will talk about that situation, or even, stuff I've gotten in trouble for, I don't talk about my dad and like how I communicate with him, how we deal with each other. I've never heard my sister or even myself, talk about my dad with that level of like, I don't know about this man, the way Robin's kids talk about Cody. Like, to
Right,
me, that
right.
says so much.
Yeah,
So,
I can relate to that just in the sense that, like, my parents, serious folks.
right. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
to strangers, like my dad could work. Like, he was,
Mm-hmm.
he's a Marine. Like my father, I said that before. My father's a Marine, and
Mm-hmm.
to this day, he gets up, goes to the gym every day. Like, this dude is serious. When I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, we had boxing equipment in my house. Like, my dad was serious. But
Mm-hmm.
like you said, I get in trouble, and I will say this: every time I got in trouble, everyone I got, I deserved, probably
Absolutely.
deserved way more, way more,
100% same.
because I
Ditto.
was fucking up. But but they had patience, and they understood that I needed a little room to grow. So I give
Mm-hmm.
them that.
Right.
But at no time when I was getting in trouble or I get disciplined, did I ever think that my dad or my mom was gonna kill my ass. I
Was
didn't
gonna
think,
kill
like, I
me.
was never scared to sit down and talk to them or have a conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
And
So again, I agree with you 100%. Like, that
yeah,
that says a lot. Like, if you're afraid to go, I'm afraid to have a conversation about going to church. Like,
about
what?
going to church.
Are you
No,
crazy?
no, sir. You need Jesus. You need to be the one in church. If
Right.
they can't talk to you about this, but
I just
I'm
thought
gonna
of that.
let you go. Oh, go ahead. Go
What
ahead.
if what if that, like, that, they're supposed to have like the whole baptism with
Uh huh.
the oldest child, Brianna's baptism on the
Mm-hmm.
thing. What if this is like some kind of elaborate plan on Brianna's part? Like, she went to the church and was like, "We need to get this mofo baptized, get the Holy Spirit up in him. I can't get him in the water though. Well, you tell him that he's gonna actually do the baptism. We'll get him in the pot and we'll trip his ass and put him under the
Mm.
water and just,
You
and
know
try to
what?
force the baptism. That
If
would be
they show that,
hilarious.
if they show that baptism scene, and I see one stray bubble in the water coming from Cody's area, I know what it is. I know
Right.
what it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, right. If y'all do that, TLC, I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you do that shit, and you trip Cody in the water, and you got, especially if you come up and his hair is press flat, because it's gonna be a mess. But I tell you what, you gonna get 3 more seasons out of me. I'll watch 3 more seasons.
Absolutely. One
Yeah,
hundred
for
percent
sure.
guaranteed, guaranteed. Because he didn't slip in that snow, and I need him to just fall on his ass just one good time.
Right, right.
One good time this season. That's all I'm asking for.
Everybody step up in that holy water and start bubbling.
Right. But I am gonna let you go. I gotta get inside. I managed to stay in the car long enough for the bottom to fall out. So it is raining cats and dogs. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
gotta
per
like
usual.
dodge droplets.
Right, right. Well, thank you for calling in, Brett. Appreciate
Of
you.
course. Thank
All
you
right,
so much. All right, I'll
no
see y'all in the
problem.
chat.
All right,
Bye.
have a good one. Bye. Don't get too wet now.
I'll do my best.
All right, and don't run, because if you slip out there, you
Oh
out there.
man. Especially after talking this mess about Cody and Robin. Like
Right,
that
right,
would
and
be
slipping and falling. Yeah, you gonna
like
slide across the sidewalk. Your phone gonna be gone. You know what
man, I wouldn't get on these lives for like a whole month if that happens. So
I mean? Right,
not taking no more chances.
right, exactly. It's your
Right.
fault.
Right.
You did this to me. All
All
right, now you
right.
be careful out there.
Thank you.
All
Bye.
right, bye. Awesomeness. Anybody else wants to call in? The lines are open. Um, yeah, I 100% agree. Like, I would think that shit is funny if they, if that whole baptism thing was like an elaborate trick to try to baptize Cody. Funny, rude as hell, but funny. That would be funny. I would laugh my ass off. Like, got you, or some kind of exorcism. Let's see. Yeah, I just, like when I look at a lot of this stuff, and even like Brittany not Brittany was saying, you get into it, it's some of it just doesn't make sense. Like he makes these demands of these folks, like especially when he talks about loyalty and honesty and who he can trust and all that. You got to be trustworthy. If you want people to trust you, you have to be trustworthy. If you want people to be loyal to you, you have to demonstrate your loyalty. You can't just like it doesn't work that way when you get like a one-way street. But coming to the stage next, we got Kitty in the house. Kitty, what's going on? How you doing?
Not too bad. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I got the blanket over top of over top of me because I'm like in my pajamas.
Okay, no worries, no worries. I understand.
Yeah. So okay, so my issue is that about the whole Cody and like and the whole Cody and family like moving from place to place to place. And
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it when I was actually cleaning. I kind of thought about it after I cleaned up my room and like being in chat in the first little bit. I'm like, a really good business sense for them should have been a
Mm-hmm.
moving company. They should have been a moving company. And I'm like thinking, why didn't they?
Because they move so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, that way at least you'd have some perks. Because
Mm-hmm.
as much as they move, the only problem that they really would have is that Cody and Robin would wind up using most of the trucks and stuff for their
Yeah.
own personal use. Because that's what they did out there on Cody Pass when they moved to Arizona in the first place. They had like 4 big ass U-Haul trucks, like the big long ones, 23 footers, sitting out there on Cody Pass for months with Robin's stuff in it.
Oh, with Robin stuff in it, not
Yeah,
not
with
not.
Robin stuff in it. Yeah, it's
Jesus.
just crazy. Like that, and again, that was just another example of like we talk about like making decisions about dollars that don't make sense. To
Yeah.
have, if you're going to have the trucks out there, it would make more sense for you just to go ahead and break down and get a storage facility because it would be way cheaper, way
Mm-hmm.
cheaper. I mean, I'm not even a big fan of that, but it would be crazy cheaper. Like
Well,
they'll
yeah.
spend I think $5 grand a month just on U-Hauls.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought it'd
Yeah.
be well, I guess that's in US. That's not here because that's what is it? U-Haul here is from one end to this from one end to the city to the other just for a day. I think it's like $25.
Hmm.
And that's just one of the smaller trucks. That's not one of the bigger trucks.
Yeah, they had like the big one. I think it was like $160, $170, maybe $200 a day. They
Yeesh.
had 4 of them, and then you know what I mean. So that's like 800 a day. So it's just like you guys are just shitting money. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? Like, it's just too much money going out of the house for no reason.
Well,
If
yeah.
you have it like that, you don't have it like that. So I don't know
Yeah.
why you're spending the money or wasting it. More to the point.
Yeah. And the other thing is though too is like I was thinking about too is like how ridiculous Robin was right from the beginning up to now, especially of her attitude towards the other women and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, especially with the whole, like I said, she has like this chip on her shoulder now, where
Mm-hmm.
everything is about like, you guys treated me so bad, and now I'm kind of getting mine back, but you can't get yours back if you're still sitting on top of all theirs.
Yeah.
Like you owe them. So, and
Yeah.
we watch you do stuff, and just because you sit there and say you good with money and you know how to budget, that's how you were able to get all this stuff. That doesn't explain anything. I don't know
Well,
why you think that explains stuff.
and the thing is though is when she said that she was in what $30,000 in debt,
Mm,
and yeah, she knows how to budget and shit. That's bullshit on my end. And I have
right.
less debt, and I have less debt than her right now. Like way less debt than her, and I only spend what I need.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy though. Like,
Yeah.
because you came in with 30, then you got their 30, like you got them to pay off your 30.
Mm-hmm.
Then you turned around and you went right to, well, we all got to have our own stuff. What?
Yeah.
We
That's
need to have our
stupid.
own stuff. I pay you 30. Get my 30 back.
Mm-hmm. I think it was even Mary. Actually, I think it was Mary that footed most of that bill anyway,
Hmm.
because of Cody and that was one of I think that was one of the ones that was on her list
Well, because,
apparently.
right, right. Well, I don't disagree with that either. Like, you know what I mean? Because all in all, this is like the thing that annoys me with Robin
Mm-hmm.
is she pretends like she doesn't understand stuff, but then when her back is against the wall, then you want to play. First, you want to play uh innocent, then you want to
Mm-hmm.
play ignorant, then you have like reasons as to why you do the stuff that you do, and it's
Mm-hmm.
always somebody else's fault, which makes you more reactionary. I just did what I did because they did what they did, and I was innocent. I had nothing to do with it. But then when nobody buys it, then you want to get mad and indignant with the people because we're observing a thing and we have an opinion on
Oh, yeah, and that's the thing that's that I find so stupid as well is that I knew for a fact that the way that she was talking and that she was trying to act like she was all innocent and everything right from the get-go, and I'm like, no, you got a motive behind you, I know it.
it. Right.
And then when she finally admitted that she had like $30,000 in debt, I'm like, there it is. There's the reason why you're acting like the way you were acting before, is because you knew that you had debt and it was gonna be exposed to you one way or the other.
Right. Right. Well, it was also like because one of the big things that was presented that I that I can't let go. I just can't let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Is something that was brought up by Religion and Reality. Like she was on the show when we found out for sure about like the debt that she had on the show.
Mm-hmm.
She had been on the show for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
That tells me that you had zero intentions in
Of
ever
paying.
paying that debt off. Like you had no intention of paying that debt off. You were gonna ride that shit. But
Mm-hmm.
the only reason why you were interested in even trying to pay that debt off is because you were trying to buy that house.
Yeah.
You know. So no, like that is super crazy to me. Like that is super crazy to me. Like I just can't believe you would sit there and do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't even know how somebody got like $30,000 in debt, especially with Victoria's Secret. Like, I mean, they ain't that great, but
Right, right. I think that was like one of them. But even then, it was like, oh well, why do you? Because I remember there was a connected to it after that came out. Some of the people had commented on it, like, well, how do you run up a Victoria's Secret bill for 30,000 or whatever? And it wasn't the whole, all of it wasn't Victoria's, but a big
yeah.
chunk of it was. And she
Yeah.
she said on Twitter, this is back when she used to watch the show and respond to the people on Twitter. She responded and said, well, because they sell pants, I'm tall and I have a funny inseam, and they sell pants that fit me. Like, okay, if that's the case, because you're so oblong and you're so weird shaped, because you're a super freak physically, you buy a couple pair of those pants. You don't have to have an entire wardrobe. Sorry,
Yeah.
not sorry. Like if
Yeah.
you're that, if like look, story time. When I was a kid, I'm a like you might not be able to tell on screen, but I'm a big guy. Like I'm a tall guy. Like I was 6'7", right?
Okay.
And even as a when I was in eighth grade, I was probably about 6'2", 6'3", right? In
Yeah.
eighth grade. So as a young man, especially growing up at the time I grew up, everything now is like super big because even the small guys like wearing tall guys stuff. So you can find clothes now. But when I was a kid, they wouldn't send out a whole bunch of stuff for big people. So if you're a bigger guy, you're a tall guy, if you're a portly guy, you're short and wide, or you're tall and skinny, then you could only get a couple things here and there, and then maybe they had specialty stores. If you had to go to a specialty store, then you didn't go there and try to clean the place out. You just got what you needed so you could get through. And that's you know what I mean. That's how you work it. If you're being if you have any kind of consideration for anybody else around. Like my grandfather used to get suits made or tailored, and his shoes made because he had a size 16 foot. You know, so he used to get his shoes tailored, and he used to get his suits made, suits tailored, and his shoes made. You know what I mean? So, but he had money to do it, but he wasn't running the family into poverty because he was trying to look nice. You know?
No. And I just so you know, like a little story time for me too. I mean, my brother, one of my brothers is 6'4", and he is fairly tall but fairly skinny. You can't find anything for more or less for him around here,
Right.
because and this is what he says. This is what he quoted. His ass is so flat that it might as well be part of our province. Okay, and I mean, and I can see why, like, how hard it is to find clothes, especially when you don't have no ass, and two, when you're extremely tall and extremely thin, you can't find shit.
Right.
No matter
Right.
how hard no matter what kind of a specialty store you go to, you just can't
Right.
find it.
Well, you know, because part of the problem is that part, and this is part of the issue I had, like, because I had a bigger foot too. But the part of the problem was, especially back in the day before Amazon and everything else now, stores would only get so many units
Yeah.
of so many, like, especially those outside sizes. So, like, you know, the small, wide guys or the tall, skinny guys. I was a tall, skinny guy when I was in high school, super, super skinny. But when you were tall and skinny, you only got like if they got like a box of jeans, like a case of jeans, there might only be two pair of jeans in that whole box for you that fit you. And so you're not only trying to get those two pair of jeans, but every tall, skinny dude in town is trying to get to them two pair of skinny jeans. You know what I mean? So not skinny jeans, that'd be crazy, but the two pair of jeans.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
And that's how,
I get it too. Like I said, my brother has a hell of a time trying to find any kind of clothing. It could be shirts to underwear, really. And sometimes he'd be lucky if his belt can actually keep on him. because he
Right.
doesn't have the hips nor the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in his 30s right now. And it's still like that for him to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And,
mean, it can be rough. It can be rough.
oh
But
yeah.
so I get it. I trust me when I say I understand what she
Oh
was
yeah.
saying or what she
Yeah.
was trying to say.
Well, yeah.
However, that doesn't mean that you run up $30,000 just
Yeah.
because you look. If you especially if you odd shaped, you get what you can get, and then you let that ride. You get you get a couple of those pants, especially you got $30,000. You got 3 kids to take care of. You buy like maybe 3, 4 pair of pants, and you just start buying a bunch of shirts so you can start offsetting it.
Mm-hmm.
You can start making outfits. That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Well,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? That's how you do it.
Oh yeah, and I've actually given what was it this past 2 years I've been giving away all my clothes because I'm like, what am I going to use this for?
Mhm.
Especially when I came to like trying to like be in a corporate world in a sense, but not really. I was in the food industry. I mean, a lot of them weren't really corporate, but some of them act like they were. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's a whole different story and a whole different time. But I mean, still, like, I understand the whole factor of like trying to find clothes that fit you. I was fairly round and fairly short, so I mean, it is
Yeah,
what it
it's
is.
like if there's ways to get by, and
Oh yeah.
the thing is that what annoys me specifically about that tale that Robin weaved about that whole like, oh, feel bad for me because I had to struggle to find clothes and that. Look, people struggle every day. People have kids, whether from divorce or just having children or whatever the case may be, and they make it work. You in this situation, I see you on TV getting your bills paid. You're not working. You're not doing anything, and you got somebody else footing your bills. It's hard for me to feel bad for you. I'm sorry. It just
Oh yeah.
is. Like
Oh yeah.
I've seen people struggle and try to make things work when they have way less and they have
Mm,
way less opportunity and they make it work and they're not sitting around complaining, crying, and talking about, oh, you got to feel bad for me because I got one lopsided ass leg and I have to go shop at the most expensive store I can find in order for me to buy a wardrobe and I don't have a job. Like these people are out making this shit happen
well
and
yeah.
they're not sitting around complaining and talking about how they have to go do these things. They just do it. And
Mhm.
they make it work. If they gotta buy 2 pair, like look, I tell you what, if you got there's things that I wanted to do for my family. And when I have to make sacrifices to do those things for my family. I have shoes in my closet that are older than my kids. You understand
Mhm.
what I mean? I got pants and I got suits in there that I can still wear that are probably as old as my youngest son.
Yeah.
If you are committed to doing what you got to do for your family, then you make it happen. I don't
Oh,
give a shit about fashion. I don't give a shit about brand new cars. If I got to do stuff, make sacrifices for my kids so they can have the type of life or lifestyle or advantage that I want them to have, then that's what I got to do. And so I don't say that to get celebrated or applauded because that's my job, that's my responsibility.
oh yeah,
But when I
definitely.
hear somebody who doesn't take that role on and they
Mm.
want to sit there and cry and complain about how they got, oh, I had to give, you don't know how much I had to give up. I just don't, I'm sorry, I don't find it in my heart. It's hard for me to find in my heart to feel bad for you. It
Oh yeah,
just
no,
is.
I know, and I totally get it. And I mean, for me, like for me on in a personal sense, like right now, it is really hard to try and find a a uh, a job around here because of the economics around here at some point. But still, I mean, it is what it is.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, it's just,
I still trying to provide more for my kids than I do for myself.
right, right.
And
And
I
that
mean,
most of the people I know do that. Like,
yeah,
and I don't think that that's even something strange. I think most of the people I know, and especially the people I associate with, they're quicker to go without something before. Like I grew up in a place at a time and amongst people who, even if you were struggling financially, your kids never knew you were struggling financially. They never knew that, oh, we were about one phone call away from having the lights shut off. Like the kids never knew. And to me, that's just how you roll.
Well,
And
yeah.
so, because the kids don't need that kind of burden. But to sit there and complain about like, oh well, part of the reason why I have this debt is because I took it on from my ex-husband. Your husband give a shit what color jeans you wearing? Do he?
Very much.
Does he?
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, like if I end up being rich tomorrow, I pay off all my debts before I even get anything else at this point.
Mm.
All my debts would be gone. I would.
Well, because I think part of that too is like I suggest that just from the respect of it's not just about getting stuff, it's about keeping stuff. Because I'm a big fan. Like what I was saying about Janelle earlier, I'm a big fan of it. I don't want to just acquire a bunch of stuff so the mortgage man, the mortgage company, or the car folks, or the car finance people, or the credit card company show up one day, knock on your door, and take all your stuff out the front door. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to borrow shit. If I get something, I want to have it. And
Mhm.
so if I was able to pay off a bill, I want that bill gone, and that way I can keep my stuff.
Oh
I don't
yeah,
want nobody being able to come in and take none of my stuff that I worked too hard to try to get.
and that's what I mean. Like it's if I like I said, if I get rich tomorrow, the first thing I do is I would pay off all my debts. And I wish Walmart had the greatest jean selection, at least around here. You can't find a good pair of jeans around here for some strange reason.
Mm. Well, I mean, look, there's Amazon now.
Oh yeah,
Part of the reason why a lot of these stores don't carry a lot of this stuff anymore is because you have a lot of the delivery places between Amazon, what's that place,
Timu.
AliExpress, Temu. Like, you know what I mean? You can
Yeah.
get whatever you want. Like I was trying to get a story time. I was trying to get one of those terry cloth type robes because I wanted to go swimming or whatever at the gym. So I wanted to get one of them robes. I order one, like I don't like this, or it's the wrong material. I gotta send it back. It's a pain in the ass, yes. And I would much rather go to a store and be able to buy it. Not for a few reasons. I won't get into now, but I'd much rather just walk into a store and buy it. But it is what it is. But because the way things are now, you have way more access to a lot more things than we
Yeah.
ever had before.
Oh God, yeah. And I mean, and I think one of the biggest things right now is that like online shopping is so much easier than just going to the store and just trying to pick and find and choose and try on and then buy it and then have it in the wash for one day and all of a sudden it shrinks on you.
Mm. Yeah. Well, quality is out the door, so
Yeah.
that's why the stuff's so cheap.
Yeah. But I am going to let somebody else come on.
All right.
And
Well, thank you so much.
yeah, talk to you later.
All right. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Oh shit. Hey, Caramel Kitties, what's going on? Sorry about that. Jumping in, jumping out.
All good. How are you, James?
Doing well, doing well. What's on your
Nice.
mind, girl?
Well, just to hear what was it, Kitty, the last caller has said
Yes.
about times being hard and whatnot. Currently I'm on administrative leave, is what they've now called it and considered it. So, it's been a nice vacation for me for the past month, but I definitely understand. I got a kid in college in Texas. I have an adopted child who's married and struggling in Atlanta, and I have my son that's here with me on top of a host of nieces and nephews. But at the end of the day, if you were to get my kid on the line now, they will tell you my mom makes the struggle look easy. My kids
Right.
don't necessarily see that, I may be making the minimum balance payment on the credit cards, or, if the bill is $100, but I could pay 50. I'm paying the 50 so that the other 50 can go to something else in the household. Robin and Cody
Right.
don't live by those antics, or I don't think they truly know what a budget is, and it's quite insulting to hear Robin say, like, "Well, I was bad with money before I met the Browns," basically, is what she's saying. But, since
Mm,
being married, now I've learned how to budget my money. And maybe that, Janelle, Mary, and Christine had did other things with their money. Well, hell, if Christine is couponing and she has to save up grocery money to even take a vacation, but yet y'all big high side. Anytime Cody basically is being filmed to go anywhere, Robin's always in the car with him, or he's in
right.
the car with
Right.
Robin driving her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to know that she came in with the debt that she came in with, it kills me to hear Cody say he vetted her hard. Yeah, the only vetting you did was in between her legs and under the bed. You didn't,
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You didn't call references. You didn't do a background check. You didn't make sure that 30,000 that she claims she took in, what was that, to keep the peace with her ex-husband. No, boo, that was your debt because you had a shopping addiction and you tried to hide it, and you didn't think that nobody was ever going to find out about it because she's trying to play
Right.
it off like her past life. Or how does she, how can I say she does it? She claims abuse so that nobody tries to check her on what really happened. And from the stories that have leaked from family members and friends, is she was the abuser. She was the one who did the most, and David filed for divorce. So Robin acts like she's the victim in that situation when truth be told, she never was. She was the
Right.
one who probably tormented him. And hate to say it, with the bill from Dayton's accident that happened on Cody's time, that man shouldn't have been pressured to sign any documents for his kids to be on the show, for them kids to so called be adopted. And now y'all want to do a redemption arc, like y'all are just the holier than thou, the greatest people in the world, and you don't understand why the OG3 and the 13 other kids turned on y'all. Y'all some assholes.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna call
Well,
a
see,
spade a spade.
it's that thing where you do the well, mistakes have been made. As you did some crazy shit, you're like, oh, mistakes have been made. We all did things we didn't really mean. Like you're the one doing
Right.
all the crazy stuff. What are you talking about? And as far as
So we're
like,
gonna
no, go ahead, go ahead.
they're just going to rewrite history as if, text messages and videos and everything else haven't been leaked and people haven't talked to certain reporters. Because I think they've
Right,
had it figured out now that whoever talks to People Magazine or E! News, that it may have come from Christine. But if it comes from, the Sput magazines that nobody really reads, we know that's Cody feeding it to them. So
right.
they just think that
That's
the
just because
fans
they
are
don't have a
stupid,
connection.
and we're not.
Yeah, that's because they don't have a connection. You know what I mean? Because I
Right.
guarantee you, if Cody could, if he could reach out to them and get that contact, he would have did it already. If he had
Well, of
that
course.
people magazine contact, he damn sure would have been. He'd have been on that show in a heartbeat.
But what does he have to share? That he bought a $2 million mansion, but Janelle was living, you know what I'm saying, in a college dorm apartment? Like, come on now. Who's buying that
Right,
issue of People magazine to see him splurging on money that he stole from the other women?
right. Well, because
They're just an
who's
idiot.
gonna believe it? Like, cause you watch, like, you spend the whole season watching them kind of duck and take and steal and finagle, and then he's gonna come back and tell you, yeah, everything you watched, none of that happened, even though
Right.
you saw it. You know what I mean? So, and I get it. Like, some of this stuff might be put together because TV and all that, but at the same time, when you get on the couch, Cody or Robin, and you say half that dumb stuff out of your mouth, confirming what they're talking about, then that's on you. You did that.
That
That's
part.
not them next messing you up or getting it wrong. That's you doing it.
That part. And like, I've keyed in now to when Robin lies. So even like with the mid-season trailers where Suki supposedly asks about them being abandoned, and she's just like whatever, and she kind of does that little mischievous laugh that she does. Certain
Mm,
things that you know Robin's lying about, she does that laugh. She won't look directly at the camera when she answers, and it just screams all over her face that she's lying.
right, right,
So they don't think after 19, 20 seasons, your fans have not picked up on, like, hell, if your family ain't picked up on it, then they just idiots. They not paying attention, or they're just trying to be quiet to keep the show going. We've already
right,
gotten heed to that too. But for most of us fans, we've picked up on so much stuff that later on, yes, you come out and you admit it. Like, you get what I'm saying? A lot of us had already felt like Cody couldn't have been you know what I'm saying? Like, we knew Robin and Cody was getting it cracking before they spiritually got married, right?
right,
So for now,
right,
him to come out and say, "Well, I admitted to Robin and to Mary that I wasn't a virgin when I married Mary," that further confirms that we know for a fact you was driving 5 hours to go get you some. Come on now.
right.
But you play
Yeah,
your fans like we're fools. I think a lot of us, I know I still watch because I'm waiting to see when the shoe gonna fall, like when the ball's gonna drop, when the truth will finally come out. I'm trying to see how far they're gonna take this lie at this point. But
right,
I don't know.
right.
I'm gonna say it till I'm blue in the face. I'm ready for the spinoff, and it damn sure isn't the spinoff of Robin and Cody.
You're not gonna watch the Robin Cody show? The two
Hell no,
lovebirds
no,
making a
no,
nest?
no. I'll tune in. I'll take your thesis on what happened. I'm not. TLC won't get no more money out of me that way. I'm sorry. They're not interesting enough for me. Their kids are
Yeah,
scared to talk. Like they look like we're watching them be force fed to be on the show. Aurora crying like her mom. Well, hell, Brianna does too. So at the end of the day, they both cry. Like I'll watch if Dayton may show up a little bit more, let him talk, or
mm,
let the younger two act a fool. But just Robin and Cody, I'm not interested.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I think that honestly, I think that without the balance of the OG3, like Robin and Cody would be too much. Like, because
Yeah.
it'd be evil all the time. Like, evil has to be sprinkled in. It can't be overpower. Evil will overpower the dish. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
it ain't too much. Like, I can watch it like, wow, I can't believe that dude just said that. But I can't imagine like just an hour of him saying outrageous shit, and then I'm just sitting there watching it because after a while, it either one, you'll get numb to it, and I don't ever want to get numb to that. Like I don't
Yeah.
ever want to be in a situation where I get complacent, like, oh, okay, yeah, I mean, you know, pay attention to his kids, that's normal. Like I don't want to be in that situation. Or you just it just becomes too much. You can't continue to watch it.
Well, my thing is, I can't stand somebody who can't take accountability for their actions. And I tell
Mm,
people, I don't do things to be with malice intent. So if I hurt your feelings, please tell me, and I'll take accountability. I can apologize and move forward and not try to do it again. It seems like Cody is intentional. Like he threw up both middle fingers on both hands to his older kids, and it's like you either gonna kiss my ass and then kiss Robin's too, or I'm just not gonna fool with you. And I can't
right,
respect that. But then not only to do that, take it a step further and be like, well, Christine turned the kids against me. Whether she said something or not, you act like these kids is blind and don't notice things for themselves. Like
right,
I think I'm rewatching. I'm still on season 5, and Aspen has said it. Isabel has said it. I think even Gwendolyn has said, like, we haven't seen Dad in a few weeks now. Like, he doesn't really come around. And this is well before they even got to Flagstaff. So
right,
you can't tell me that things that have been said from season 1 that carried out through season 5, through season 19, through the COVID years, like, your kids have been telling you, we want to see more of you. We would love for you to be here and actually interact with us. And you've blatantly been like, nah, it's better at Robin's house. I'm gonna just chill over there.
right. I get what I want.
I can't respect
Well,
that. And the fact that even if it does continue on, it's just gonna be placing blame because Cody can't admit the role that he genuinely played in messing over his family. And God forbid he ever fully admits, well, Robin, you did do dot 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 dot. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he said it when they went up on, when she fell off the ATV and was like, well, don't push me. to do this with Janelle because you pushed me to do that with Mary. Fool, you made a
Right.
choice and you stayed in it because you know Mary's money was good. Like, let's just keep it real at this point. I can't deal with the fakeness. So, nah, I won't tune in. I'm cool. I think I've hit my limit. I'm waiting
I
for
heard that.
Christine's book to drop, and then I want to see how much she can divulge with that one because she's still under contract. So let's see how honest she may be with her book. But now I think I'm just ready for the next tale of what was Sister Wives because they aren't
Right.
anymore. But we'll
Yeah, I'm
see.
curious what's gonna happen.
We'll see. I mean, I what is it? I'm like 5 more episodes of this season.
Uh, what is it? Well, it's 5 episodes, and I think it's four part tell all. So it's nine total. Nine total episodes.
4-part tell all.
Yep.
Yeah, I might go back to drinking wine again. I don't know. This is a lot. Well, it
Yeah.
should be interesting to see, we see Cody flips out again on Suki and she's probably just gonna sit back and take it like she did last season. I need them to get somebody tougher in the tell all. Like they need a man that's gonna go in there and not take no crap and not allow Cody to walk all over him or Robin to manipulate with her tears have himself. And what's the point in having a tell all if the only ones who are genuinely telling all are just Mary, Janelle, and Christine?
Right. Right. Well, because I think it's also a disadvantage if the tell all is only centered around uh everybody talking about what's going on with Mary, Janelle, and Christine, even
Hmm.
Cody and Robin. Because the second you try to talk about, well, what's going on with you guys? Oh, I don't want to talk about us. So you just came
Right.
here to talk shit about them? Like that's not
Yeah.
a thing. So, if you want to talk about them, that's fine. Let's talk about them, but let's press you on your opinions on what you think is going on with them. Like I think that that's
Right.
probably the more effective way to deal with it. Is that don't let them like don't. There are no more free passes. Like that would be the title of the show. Like I think that should be the title of the show. No more free passes. So if you say something, you have to be willing to back it up. We're not just
Right.
gonna sit here and let you, oh well, Janelle really wanted me and she begged me to come back. Okay, when did that happen? And what did she say? Where were you? And we're gonna bring her out and ask her about it. So
Right.
I mean, do you want to do that or you want to take that shit back? Like, you know what I mean? Because he's saying, because even in the last tell all, he came out and he made a lot of accusations. He came out and said a lot of flirtive things. And he
Right.
just said a lot of stuff, just threw a lot of stuff on them. Even Robin came out and just said a lot of stuff about him. The whole thing with, uh, was it season 17 that, Christine tried to ruin his ability to get back with Mary and all that foolishness. Challenge him on that shit. We watched
Right.
that
But
episode, Cody. I remember seeing that. Now I don't really remember you asking Mary to take you guys back and y'all work it out. I don't remember
right.
that. And I talked to Mary, and
Well,
Mary says she don't remember none of that either. So what are you talking about?
well, then it makes me wonder who had they segment with Suki first. You get what
Hmm.
I'm saying? 'Cause we see it already edited, chopped and spin, and then brought back to us. But in the lineup of questioning, when Cody said all that he said, it let me know I don't think Suki really watched the show, or just production wants to lay low and not piss Cody off. Because that would have been a perfect time to pull up the clip of their anniversary with the Rice Krispie treats and been like, "Well,
Well,
you tried to kiss her here, but or she tried to kiss you, and you was running from it. So how are you ready to get back with her?" But that
yeah,
line of questioning, Cody's gonna run. He's gonna get pissed off. He's gonna be mad. God forbid you do that to rebuke what Robin has to say. Then she's gonna start crying and play the victim. So either you gonna hold their feet to the fire or don't allow them to do it. And I feel that 100%. But I just feel like they need to get all back on stage together.
right,
I don't care
right.
who all security you got. How fuck. Sorry. Oops. Excuse me. Put them in a
No,
boxing
you're fine.
match. Put them in a boxing ring and let them each have their 4 corners. Figure it
Right.
out. But I don't see
Well, all
why
you
we're
really
still
need,
doing this separate.
yeah, all you really need is we're going to be just the bottom line. We're going to be adults about it, and you have somebody on the stage who can moderate it to where you allow each person to talk. If you ask one person a question, you know, and somebody else tries to jump in, excuse me, this is for Christine,
Right.
or whatever, you just stop it from happening. And you can do it. It's not a difficult thing. The only real question is whether the ladies can be honest with the other person sitting on the stage. Because
You don't
Cody's
think
going
they
to
could
say
do it?
whatever Cody wants to say, and
Right.
the other ones have to, like Mary. She had that whole thing where she said that she wished she saw the episode, because had she seen the episode where he called her and her friends salty birches or whatever,
Hmm.
uh, she said if I had seen that, then I would have had totally different responses. No, you have the response you have because it's the truth. Start
Right.
telling the damn truth. Stop, pussyfooting around with these guys pretending like they're going to get up there and be kind to you, because they haven't been kind to you at all since
Right.
they've been going out there. So stop showing them that kindness that they're not showing to you. And if you do want to show them kindness, because you're being mature or whatever you call it, then that's fine. You just going to have to eat this L then, you
Right.
know? And don't be mad
Right.
about it, because they coming out throwing stones at your ass. I don't even know why you playing. I don't know why you
Yeah.
playing.
You would have came with your arsenal ready.
Oh, you know
I
what?
have.
I just would
I
have
have
came
a.
and told the truth. Just tell the damn
Right.
truth. That's all you owe them. You owe them nothing more than the truth. Like, this
Do
is
you
what
think?
happened.
Do you think they're
Yeah.
scared too because the show might? I mean, I feel like, and I might have read it in an article years back, but it said that they were only contractually doing 20 seasons. This is well before Garrison passed away, so they were only in contract from when he renegotiated, when they were going to end the show. I don't remember what season that was, but Cody renegotiated to where the family took the one lump sum amount versus each family member getting paid the bigger amount, but they're only in
Mm,
contract to season 20. So I've held on to the thought after reading that they stay kind of quiet, even when the kids were coming out doing their own, like Gwen, McKelty, Peyton, that there's only so much that they can say, because if they say too much, it could end the show. And I think that the
right.
women are giving us, OG3 are giving us bits and pieces that won't damage the show permanently to where now it's canceled and ain't nobody getting a check. But I think that's where the why comes in. Like, why won't they just combat Cody or Robin and come at him full force and just put it all out there and just say to hell with it? Because right now that is their bankroll. And if that ends, who knows how that might set Cody the hell off. Like, you know what I'm saying? But personally, me, I couldn't be one of the OG3 because the season would have ended when I left. Because I'm
Right.
storming out this bad boy. I'm tearing shit up, left, right, up, down, forwards, and backwards. I'm tearing up. Oh, you want to know some secrets? Here's your receipts. I'm leaking everything. Because what? I don't give a damn. I'm out. My kids are safe. They ain't coming around. You said screw them. So guess what? I tell people all the time, you want to show your behind? I'll show mine, but it's way bigger. So how you want to play this? But that's me.
Well,
I take the
well, because
cookie route sometimes.
I would say this, though, to be honest with you, one of the things that's killing the show, like, because I understand that they may be trying to hold on because they're trying to keep the show going. But one of the things I think, in my opinion, one of the things that's actually killing the show is the fact that too much of it seems overproduced. It
Hmm.
seems like they're trying to create these moments, and every moment they try to create is put together so it looks like it's a nice, calm, cool, collected, well thought out moment. You have to show
Yeah.
people the real. That's what they want to see. And if that
Right.
means I have to come out and tell the truth, and let the pieces fall where they may, so be it. And if that, they probably would have more success doing that than they have with the we're going to come out and try to be nice to each other and not say anything too outrageous. Like, because we can't,
Right.
we've been watching them do outrageous shit all season. Now when it comes to the we're gonna pretend like you guys are all cordial. We're watching this dude rip you off for money. Like, him and his wife are ripping y'all off for money. And it seems like the fans are way more outraged by the fact that you guys are getting ripped off for money. And
Right.
that actually is kind of getting long in the tooth for me because it seems like I'm more pissed off about Cody fans than y'all are. I'm more pissed
Right.
off about the family fun than y'all are.
Right.
I'm talking shit like, oh, I'll go down there and catch a case. You know, what I mean, they're like, well, I don't want to disrespect Cody. I want to treat him with kindness and be gentle. Like, oh,
Right.
okay.
What did Mary say? You don't think in the end we'd have each other's backs? This man is saying he hasn't wanted to be married to you for how long? And I get it because her main argument has been for the last 2 seasons. He may tell the cameras this, but he's never physically told me this. And it lets,
Mm,
we all know Cody plays his mind game. So he may say one thing to them when he's either on the phone or in person with them versus what he puts on when he gets on that couch. But I missed my point. I'm sorry. I had it too. But when it comes to it, at the end of the day, there may be some things that have gone on behind the cameras that the fans just aren't privy to and
right.
they're not willing to say. And that's probably why we're more outraged by everything that's been going on than they are. Yeah, Janelle may say, I've talked to a lawyer. I need to get a lawyer. But from what's been proven, nobody's put a lawsuit out outside of Christine going for child custody and child support, which a lot of that itself is private because that is a minor child. So if they did get a lawyer, nobody's like, there's no court paperwork out there anywhere saying anything regarding Coyote deaths. So how do
Hmm.
we don't know. Like Cody could have secretly said, look, when we get done filming, I'm gonna kick y'all down X amount of dollars. Just keep it up until the season ends. So we don't know. Would be interesting to find out, but as far as we know, nothing's been filed in Coconina County. So we're just all pissed off for no reason at this point.
Right. Well, because even that, like, one of my big concerns, well, I won't say my big concerns because that's not fair. But one of the things that has always kind of sparked me is that with the way it works with the statute of limitations,
Hmm.
if they're holding off because of the show, you better have something written down contractually that gives you some kind of payout if you're going to forego your rights to bring suit to
Hmm.
recapture some of those funds. Like
Hmm.
that's just where I'm at. Like, don't play this game with them where, oh, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing because it'll mess the show up. I'm not gonna file no paperwork or a lawsuit because that could mess the show up. That could mess the storyline up. And you don't have that contract in place and you don't file anything because all that will happen is you'll wait that time out. Then by the time you're ready to file that paperwork, your storyline is going to be, oh, you waited too long, and because of the statute of limitations, you get jack shit. And that's where I'm,
True.
you know what I mean? That's where I will be concerned at. And that's where I'm like, you guys are talking about, you're now talking about, I might have to go talk to an attorney. That time has been passed for you
Right.
to talk to an attorney. You need to have an attorney.
Well,
Call
remember
my
they were
attorney.
waiting. Janelle was waiting to pay off the property, which still shouldn't have taken them that long. If what history is showing, Cody was already looking for a place. You get what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because the same realtor that he had on the show is the exact same realtor he used to sell the McMansion and to buy the new McMansion.
right,
So whether you wrote that in as a storyline or not, you had already been looking for your next big deal, which means I feel, yes, Janelle and Mary should have been got them an attorney. I think they should have got it when she was giving Christine the advice to not leave until she got her financials in a duck or all in a row, which still doesn't make sense why you would tell somebody else to get their ducks in a row, but yours aren't even in a row. But
right.
that's an
Your
argument for a
poop,
whole nother day, which
get your
for
poop in the
Janelle to
group.
be about the money in the books, right? She got screwed over the most
Hmm.
out of everybody. I feel, yeah, Mary got screwed a lot because they had her paying on land that she was only going to get a third of to begin with. Mary been paid off her portion of that damn land, probably 10 times over if you want to be real. But I feel like financially, Janelle got screwed the most. She invest whatever her 401k was that helped pay off Robin's debt. Majority of the money from her house in Vegas, she contributed the most financially to the family. To not have nothing now sucks. but you did it to
Right.
yourself. She should have had an attorney on retainer, if you ask me. I would, hey, financial advisor on speed dial. Is this a good decision? Should I follow suit? But no, y'all let Cody lead y'all straight back into probably another bankruptcy if you want to be real. But hey, that's how they've always done it, I guess. So that's how they're going to do it. But it will be interesting to see how the rest of the season plays out. Tell all looks like it might be juicy on some fronts because it looks like Christine is no longer giving him a cloak of charity, using his
Right.
words, because she's letting it be known. I had never seen their wedding announcement photos.
Oh, for
So
yeah,
Robin and
I never
Cody,
saw him either. Not till
yeah. So
she
this is
mentioned it, then I looked him up.
right. Same,
It
same.
does look,
Until
it
she
looks
mentioned it,
saucy. Yeah, it
right.
does look saucy.
That doesn't look like she kept her purity before getting
No.
married. So, but all right, I'll see you back in the chat. I had to let that
All
out
right.
for a second.
No, no worries. It was good talking to you. Have a good one.
All righty.
All right. Bye. All right. Alexandra coming onto the stage next. What's going on? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing very well.
Good stuff. Now, I gotta say, I love me some Carmel, but I gotta disagree with her on one little point. I
Okay.
wouldn't call us fans, I'd call us viewers because I cannot stand the show, but I'm still watching it, so I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's the dumpster fire. I got you. I
Yeah.
got
Yeah, it's like slowing down at a car wreck. Like, you don't want to be that person doing it, but you're doing it.
you. Right, right. Well, you're
So,
the person like, why are all these people slowing down? As soon as it's your turn, you slow right down and look
yeah,
up. Yeah. Ridiculous. They need to just keep it going.
that's right. But so back to your main topic about Cody and his business sense not making dollars. Yeah, the whole sister wives closet thing. Remember he didn't want to sell the t-shirts because it would cheapen the brand, and
Yeah.
he justified the price points for the cheap costume jewelry as like this is elite, this is prestigious. Like he had this whole elevated view of what they were marketing. And like for me, right, I'm blind, right? So I use
Mm,
braille and I use voice and whatever. So if I had a market like a line of jewelry and it was all braille, like how many people am I actually selling to, right? And
right.
this is what they never understood with their sister wives closet thing, is like, who is your market? And they would go up with their sales pitch and have this huge long storyline. So okay, I'd probably sell some pieces that have braille on them, let's say, or whatever. And people would have to like go into this whole storyline of what is this, what is that, what do those dots on your jewelry mean, like, and that's their whole story was, oh well, this piece means this and it came from this and it was at this story. Women don't want that. People don't want that. You
Right.
want something nice, you want something pretty that someone says, oh, that's pretty, and you say, oh, thank you, and you move on. You don't want to have to sit here and go into this whole story with your coworker or you know somebody at the bank who sees you who says, "Oh, that's pretty," and you don't have time to go into this whole backstory of what this item means. You just
Right. Right.
so their whole concept was just ridiculous. Um, and sister wives closet, like we were talking in the chat, like it should be items in my mind, it should be items that are universal, like a scarf or a purse or something that any woman any size could exchange with each other. That's a whole idea of a closet, right? Like you might have someone who's 300 pounds or someone who's 110 pounds, but you have to have something that are interchangeable between these people. you know T-shirts would have been good as well, but like the whole idea of borrowing closets is you could borrow something from somebody's closet that anybody could use, I would think. But,
Mm,
so this whole concept was so stupid. And although he said he should have supported it more, he still supported it by putting in the financials from the family into it.
right.
So to say he didn't support it is a lie. And I think that's why so many of us can't stand the show, is because they keep lying to us. We care more about these women than even these women do about themselves. Like we're all here so upset that Janelle put in all her life savings into this and she's getting nothing. So it's just funny that we care more than they do.
Right. Right. And
Like,
like I said, that was the part that kind of chapped me a little bit. But even to go back to what you were saying as far as the sister wife's closet thing, Like at the end of the day, or the jewelry and the story behind the jewelry, the biggest problem with that marketing idea is that the story that you're telling is the story of Robin and her family. It's not your story. So if
Right.
you have a piece of jewelry that maybe is sentimental to you because it belongs to your grandmother or your mom, or your husband or boyfriend gave it to you, or girlfriend, whoever, they gave it to you under a certain set of circumstances. It's a cute story. That's your story, and that's the story you might tell. I wouldn't feel comfortable telling the story that, yeah, I got this fanboy piece of jewelry that, if you're familiar with the show, you'll know that there's these characters. Like, that's too much. It would just get weird at that point. That would be weird for me.
Yeah, did they expect all of us to be fangirls, fanboys, and just go and wear
Right.
their products and tell we're evangelists for their cause? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Let me tell you about that, because Cody had gave this to the wives one Christmas. Like, what? So this has nothing to do with you, is what you're saying. This nothing to do with you. Yeah, it would just be weird. Like, it's a weird situation. And I think part of the like little inside baseball with the title Sister Wives Closet, that actually comes from another store that was extremely popular online. Like, it was like an online popular thing
Yeah.
that they had borrowed. Like, they took the name.
Wow. Wow, them
Yeah,
stealing
so
and lying? What a shock.
yeah. I know it's hard to believe, but
Oh man. And you know, hip hopping over to the whole Janelle story, like when Cody and Mary married her, got involved with her, she owned a house, right? So
hmm
not only like all her resources have been put into this, and I think she never thought that her and Cody would break up. I think she thought, they were getting their scratches, they were itching their scratches with each other, and they had it good, and they got what they wanted, and I think she never thought that he would actually, ditch her. So,
right.
yeah, but
Yeah, I think you're right, because I think that, like, because I've said that before. Like, I think ultimately, Janelle's relationship with Cody was different than any one of the other wives, because she had the kids that Cody associated with
yeah,
most heavily. So, if anything, just by the very nature of that, her relationship was completely unique than anybody else in the family. Even Christine, even though she took care of most of the kids, she had most of the girls. Whereas
yeah,
the only ones that Cody was really interested in were the older boys.
yeah,
And so those were Janelle's kids.
yeah,
So their relationship was different. So she probably didn't think Cody was going to screw her over. Like you said, I don't think that she really thought Cody was going to screw Cody. I don't think she thought Cody was
yeah.
going to screw her over.
Yeah, because even if you look back at the one of the episodes during COVID when he came back and they saw each other again, she's all like giddy with him, and he's
hmm
giddy with her and doing their fake stupid laughs that they all do on that show. Um,
Right,
so I think she even still thought at that point, like, okay, we're good. But then he continued. He went back to his not coming around anymore, and I think that's when she realized this is like, past like into 2021. Um, after Christine had left, even that I think then she realized, oh wait, he's really changed the game now. So
right, right.
I don't know, man. I just it's just sad. I just think it's so sad that we care so much more about these women and what they're getting out of out of this situation than they do. Um,
Right,
those of us with knowledge and legal expertise know they've left bags of money on the table, and they
right,
can't get it back. It's too late now. I mean,
right,
you can have a lawyer try and do some tricks for them and try to pull stuff out, but once you've walked away from certain things and time has gone by, y- there's no unraveling that. So,
right, right. Well, it's just
I'm
that,
not hopeful.
because you're also taking into account that, as creative as an attorney may be, as talented as an attorney may be,
Hmm.
they would only be able to present as much as a judge would allow them to present. And I think that with all the creativity in the world, a lot of that money, like especially the money that's tied up in the McMansion, that
Mm-hmm.
money is long gone. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing. I don't think there's a whole lot they can do. Even
No.
with the, I think Carter or somebody had asked me earlier, like with the admissions that they make on TV, could they be used in the court of law? Not to the same extent that first of all, it's not sworn testimony, so it's not that they promised that they wouldn't perjure themselves before they go on the reality show.
Yeah.
That's one of the complications. Another thing that they would use, just spitballing it. A lot of the people, I'm sure, who are on reality shows just say, "Well, it was just for the show." The
Yeah.
stuff we said was for storyline purposes. Like, so it'd be very difficult for you to be able to shoehorn that into a court setting as part of like, I'm just going to drop off tapes and then
Right.
hopefully the judge will review them and then take them at face value. It'd be very difficult. You need supporting documents
Yeah.
or something to support that. It just
Yeah.
my,
And just off the top of my head, for using footage from the show, you could say, well, it's taken out of context. And then what are you going to
Mhm.
demand to have the raw footage? And I'm sorry, but judges aren't going to sit there and go through raw footage. Their dockets are full,
Right.
unless you have clear and compelling evidence, which business records usually are, that kind of thing. But, we have to think about this realistically. And if they, for whatever reason, chose to walk away from all these financial uh, entanglements that they were in and didn't get what they needed out of it, then what is the legal system supposed to do? They were in an out of law kind of situation where they weren't married, so they didn't have the protections of law, and now they want the law to come in and save them. Like, it's not gonna
Right.
happen. um
Right.
Another thing that Janelle said when she was first talking about a lawyer was, oh, I talked to a lawyer, and there's many lawyers in Flagstaff. And I can tell you, as a lawyer, the reason why she said that is because the lawyer she talked to was conflicted out. So that means that it was probably Cody's lawyer, or Cody had talked to him, or her had talked to the lawyer. And so when Janelle
Mhm.
went to go talk to the lawyer said, okay, I can talk to you, but I can't give you legal advice and I can't represent you because I'm also on this file. So I can provide you
Right.
information, but I can't advise you. So that's why she said, oh, there's lots of lawyers in town. So
Right. Well, because
I,
I do remember, like, we also have to keep in mind that there were points where Cody was very active with going
mhm,
to seek legal representation.
yeah.
Because he had talked to, he had said, oh, well, I think the first time he came back and said that he wanted to turn County Pass into a rental property haven, he
Hmm.
came back said he just returned from the lawyer.
Yeah.
So the one thing with that, I think it's worth saying in that type of setting, if you're like in this situation where Cody and Janelle, because they're not married, they have no legal ties. They're spiritually married, but they're
Hmm.
not legally married because he's legally married to Robin. So there's not even a question of common law relationship
Right.
in that situation. These are basically two people who went into a business venture together.
Yeah.
If Cody goes and talks to an attorney and he gets advice from said attorney, especially if he exchanges any money from that to that attorney.
Hmm.
He pays for that time or he does some kind of retention. And in some cases, even if he does a free
Consult.
consultation,
Yeah.
right? That is Cody's attorney, full stop.
Yep.
That's not Cody and Janelle's and the family's attorney. That's Cody's attorney.
Yeah.
And if you talk to that attorney, the attorney should tell you. If Janelle went to the attorney and asked him for advice, the attorney should tell Janelle, inform her that he's Cody's attorney and he's
Hmm.
conflicted out from providing any legal advice to Janelle because of his representation of Cody.
Yeah.
And that's a
Exactly.
full stop. There are ways that you can get around it, like you have to go to the court and you have to do the whole waiver process where you waive the conflict, which would
Hmm.
be crazy. I wouldn't even want to recommend that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, it's a whole process. And like you said, there's the false sense of security that because he's talking to an attorney and he called and Cody refers to this attorney as the family attorney. That
Mhm.
is not the family attorney. That's his attorney. This
That's
this
right.
happens in the music industry. Like you'll
Mhm.
have somebody will a guy like artist will come up and the record company will have attorneys. They say, "Oh, meet with the attorney," and he'll go over the contracts. And you're meeting with this attorney, thinking he's your attorney. He's the record company attorney. He doesn't represent you.
Mhm.
So when you sign any documents with him, yo, the next time you see that attorney will be in court when he's representing the other side.
Yeah.
Like you'll get screwed over.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know.
And
It's sad, like I said.
it is. And another thing, while we're talking about attorneys, it was brought up recently on another chat of yours, with Mary when she was getting her legal divorce, and Cody that was there. Even at least in my jurisdiction, I don't know about Vegas, but most jurisdictions, even in an amicable divorce, if you're going through a lawyer, you have to get one of the parties has to get independent legal advice to make
Mm,
sure that their interests are being met. Even in, like I said, even in a very, very standard, no, like nothing's being, no property exchange, no division of assets, nothing. Even in those things, you need independent legal advice in a very simple divorce in our jurisdiction. I don't know about Vegas, but when I saw that, it was just raising all sorts of warning bells in my mind,
right.
because it's like that's not protocol for what I know. And I got my legal training just before all that was happening there, so I don't see how in our jurisdiction that would be the case, and in that one it wouldn't. But you know it didn't seem right to me at all, 'cause she gave away
Right.
so
Well,
much.
yeah, because even in that situation, especially in light of how things worked out, like he
Mhm.
divorces Mary, but then he marries another person who is also in the room and
Mm,
signing as a witness on said document to an attorney who's representing both parties.
yeah.
Yeah, like this, it's way too messy. This is
Y-
way too messy.
yeah.
Like that, this, you know,
And doing it in front of cameras, you know
right,
like, is he
right.
worried about his license?
It's just crazy. This is that crazy town stuff. It is partly because there are things that Mary may want to ask or guidance or counsel that she may want to receive from her own attorney, which is part of the reason. Like her attorney might say, "Look, Mary, I understand you want to divorce Cody, yeah, because he loves Robin and they want to be together, but we gonna be together, but it's gonna be in a spiritual sense, and I don't want there to be any problem." That's fine, Mary.
Hmm.
But what we need to do is we need to secure your property. So
Hmm.
what we're going to do is because Robin has a house, right? Yeah, then we'll just have him sign on to Robin's house, and then he'll give you this house as part of the divorce decree.
Hmm.
So that this is your house free and clear. And
Yeah.
and those are the type of like, advisements or consultations you would have with your attorney. And
Right.
it might not happen because Cody's going to talk to his attorney like, I don't want to sign away my rights to her house. Because at
Hmm.
that point, once Cody did that, he wound up on when they sold Mary's house, he was at Mary's closing because he was still on Mary's deed for that house.
Yeah.
And then when Robin closed her house, he was on that deed as well.
Hmm.
So when they left Vegas, he had two properties, and that's why I was saying two out of the four. He had two
Yeah.
out of the four properties.
Yeah.
So an attorney might have said, "Look, we want to make sure that when you get a divorce, whether for pretend or whatever, legally we're going to create a true division
Hmm.
so that he'll have his stuff, you'll have your stuff. You have 30 years of marriage with this man, you deserve
Hmm.
to have something." An attorney will talk to you about it. You know,
and and having that independent legal advice also ensures that the other party, in this case Cody, um, is like his rights are protected as well, so that Mary can't go back later on and say, "Oh, well, I was taken advantage of in this divorce and I want to unwind that and renegotiate terms." Like if she had gone legal
mm,
advice, then Cody could use that as a shield later and say, "No, no, you consulted your own lawyer and you made your decisions accordingly, and the agreement we reached is the agreement we reached. Now, if you're
right.
trying to, change things, kind of too bad." Because I think even if she had an attorney, she wouldn't have fought for anything. even though she should have. But I think at that
Right.
stage, she was still, buying whatever line he was feeding her. So, it's just, like I've said to you before, it's just so interesting to look back at these episodes and, see how this show has gone through all these different, like, hey, let's do the Biggest Loser with the weight loss challenge. Let's do, birthing shows, wedding shows, and, now legal shows, and they get all the legal stuff
Yeah.
so wrong.
Divorce court. Yeah. Well, because even
Yeah.
with that, like, because I've done like 90 Day Fiance. There's always the one or a few people who will
Mhm.
come out and they'll get advised by their friends and family that you should get a prenuptial agreement.
Right.
And in my mind, prenuptial agreements aren't bad things to have,
Hmm.
because whether you like it or not, when you get divorced, whether you like it or not, there are rules and guidelines as to what will the property division is going to look like. So you
Yeah.
already prenuptial agreement, whether you agree upon it or not, is already in place. The only thing a prenuptial agreement does, it protects your rights and it protects you as far as your money is concerned.
Hmm.
So when you hear prenuptial agreement, there's always an assumption that the person with money is going to keep all their money, and a person who enters into the union without money will leave the union without money.
Hmm.
That's not what a prenuptial agreement is. The best way to get a prenuptial agreement is to one, you want to get your own attorney, kind of what we're talking about here.
Hmm.
Because if you don't have your own attorney, if I have a bunch of money and I marry a woman who doesn't have any money,
Hmm.
and I have an attorney, and my attorney drafts a prenuptial agreement, I give it to her to sign it, she signs it, and then we go file it, and we get married. And if we get divorced, she's just going to come out and say, I didn't have representation and I didn't understand what I was signing.
Hmm.
And there's a possibility that prenup, especially if it's a very lopsided prenuptial agreement,
Hmm.
I'm walking away with everything. She gets nothing. Then
Hmm.
she's gonna have another bite at the apple,
Yeah.
and that's where you're talking about them unwinding it. Is that same principle in
Yeah.
this instance? Because you don't have representation. If Mary didn't have representation, or if Cody didn't have representation, or they had shared representation, either one of them could go back and say, "Look, I didn't really get good advice. I
Hmm.
didn't have an opportunity to speak to an attorney. It wasn't clear to me what was happening. I didn't know what my rights were."
Yeah.
And that whole thing could be unwound and it could create all kinds of turmoil and problems. Now,
Yeah.
clearly, because of the time delay and everything else, it'd be very difficult to do now.
Oh,
But,
yeah. Now that
it
ship
would,
is off in
yeah,
the
yeah,
Indian Ocean.
not only sailed, it's sunk on fire and it's in the bottom of the ocean now, sitting right next to the Titanic.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
you said, it just would have made things so much cleaner. It would have made it more realistic, and it would have been a lot tighter. And then
Yeah.
too, like you said, with the thing, like it or not, a lot of these tools only come into play or only work if the ladies are actually willing to pull the trigger to
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because
Yeah.
they had all kinds, in my mind, I feel like Robin. In my mind, they had all kinds of opportunity to be
Yeah.
able to establish some points as far as ownership, money that was given, where the money went, so on and so forth. But the longer you go without bringing those things up, without talking about those things, without filing a suit, like especially with statute of limitations kind of in the wings,
Yeah.
then the harder it's going to be because the judge is just going to ask you, like even when Cody passed. So his name was on everything. You thought that was a mistake, so you gave him more money, and
Right.
you didn't insist that they change the title to the property. So what do you
Yeah.
want me to do? You know, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that's kind of how it will go. What do you want me to do? I
Right.
want you to go back and fix it. Why you didn't care? Why why are you here in front of me? I got stuff to do. So it can get crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And, back to the whole like getting into a situation and you might think something in your mind. Like, so when I got married to my husband, I owned a house, he did not. So that
Hmm.
became the matrimonial home. So when it came time to sell it, right, even though it was mine, clear out whatever at the beginning, when it came time to sell it and we moved it to the next place, he had to sign off on it because it's a matrimonial home, and he would have been entitled to 50% if we were splitting. We weren't, but you know what I mean? So you might think you have an
Right.
asset, but because of the nature of marriage, it becomes a joint asset. So, you know,
Right.
people think, oh, whatever I get before marriage is mine. Not necessarily. Um,
Right.
so this
It
is
depends on
why,
what state you're in. It depends.
yeah,
It really depends on state jurisdiction. You're absolutely right.
yeah, yeah, my jurisdiction, that's the case. So, you know, this is why it's so important to, when you're getting into these situations, you can't just depend on the other person's goodwill. You have to know what your rights are.
Mm.
And if these women are okay giving away their rights, and okay, but
Right.
at least you
Right.
know what you're giving up. You know what sacks of money you're putting in his little sports car. So,
Yeah, I 100% agree because I think that when the hard part about it is that again I understand that for the most part we give them the grace of saying that they might not have had certain experiences or certain information or certain knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. The
mm,
problem that I have when I encounter that point is the courts don't care.
yeah.
The courts don't like when you go to court. Well, I was raised in a way that this is what I thought. They could take that into consideration. They could take that under advisement,
Mm,
but they don't have to rule because you didn't have the chutzpah to say
mhm,
no, this isn't right, or no, I wanted to find out this information. When you do things like you were saying, depending on your jurisdiction, when you get married, you will have a piece of property, and all of a sudden you get married, and you find out that that piece of property is now subject to uh, ownership by your partner
mhm,
because you married them, and like you said, it becomes the matrimonial home in that jurisdiction. The court's not going to say, "Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, okay. Well, no, we'll go ahead and let you keep it." Yeah,
right.
it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you know.
Yeah.
And it can hurt. Like, and that's the thing. Like, and when it comes down to it, because even when you're saying like everybody, I believe that when people get married, everybody has the best intentions. I don't think anybody gets married thinking I'm totally going to screw you up. I mean, well, there are people who do that, but
Yeah.
for the most part, they don't say I'm going to screw you over. What happens is they come in with their best intentions. If the marriage falters or it doesn't work, when the marriage dissolves, they are trying, sometimes they're trying to get as much as they can. Sometimes
Mhm.
they just want to hurt the other person
Yeah.
because they're hurt.
Yeah.
And that can cause like a lot of the problems and issues and turmoil from like the division of that property.
Yeah.
So that's why in that case, that's where a prenuptial agreement will come into play. Because then you
Yeah.
don't, because you're making it, part of what I say too is you get, when you're doing a prenuptial agreement, you get to make that agreement. What happens if this marriage dissolves? And it's crystal clear when you both have the best intention for each other,
Yeah.
as opposed to waiting for you guys to both hate each other and try to destroy each other, in
Yeah.
which case you don't want to give them anything.
Yeah.
I want to
Another
walk it out with nothing.
Yeah, because there's emotion involved at a divorce, and like some of the
Mm,
worst divorces I've seen is where, you know, the one party is done, they want a divorce, they want to settle, but the other person's not there emotionally yet, right? So they're dragging their
right.
feet, they're delaying, you know, hoping that things change, whatever. Then they finally the second party gets to the point where they're like, okay, I'm ready for the divorce. And the first person is like, wait a second, I was ready 2 years ago. Now you want to settle? No, now I'm going to drag it out because you've made me wait. So, you
Mm,
know, the emotion of it can make things so much more difficult and expensive. That's where, you know, prenuptial agreements can get some of that those decisions made when you don't have that cloud of emotion and heartache on your hands as well.
right. Right.
So,
Right.
you know, they have a bad
Yeah.
rap, but they can help.
Yeah, it's all in how you look at it too. Oh, if I get a prenuptial agreement, it's like I'm admitting that we're going to get divorced. No,
Yep.
no, you
Well,
you won't get divorced because you have a prenuptial agreement, or it makes it easier to get a divorce. Not necessarily. Like
well,
divorce is already difficult as is,
yeah,
but it
it's
just makes it a little more streamlined.
almost like having insurance, like life insurance or property insurance or whatever. It's like I'm getting something hoping I will never have to use it. But in case I
Hmm.
do, I'm saved. You know, that's that kind
Right.
of mentality that it should be, but people just again, because it involves emotion and stuff, it's people take a wrong look at it. Whereas, this is also, it is emotion, it's love, it's whatever, but it's also a business that you're entering a business when you get married in a way. So you
Right.
got to look at it that way. But again, we humans are fallible, so we don't look
Right.
at
Right.
things.
Well,
So,
sometimes the best advice is advice not followed because, nobody wants to think that it's like the person that you're with would ever hurt you or not look out for you.
yeah.
But it's just the thing of with a prenuptial agreement, like I was saying earlier, they get a bad rap because a lot of times, or at least in my opinion, they get a
Mhm.
bad rap because people see it as a way to screw somebody out of something.
Mhm.
But a prenuptial agreement, especially if you have your own attorney.
Mhm.
So the have and the have not both have attorneys. They go
Mhm.
to their attorney and they work that deal out so that the person who has is happy and the person who doesn't have is taken care of.
Right.
And then that from there you come up with an agreement. And
Yeah.
then once that agreement is passed, of course, built in the idea of you want to have your own attorney, you want to give enough time to make sure that both parties can review
Yeah.
and submit, revisions or whatever, work
Yeah.
out the deal. You want to get that settled, signed, and everything else, and you want it to be very clear, and you want to have it fair. It has to be fair. So you don't want to have it very lopsided because the judge could look at that later on and say, this is ridiculous. Who the hell
Yeah.
signed off on this?
Right.
And throw it out.
Yeah.
And that's how, like, when you see it, like a lot of times when I take note of people getting their prenuptial agreements thrown out, that's usually why,
Yeah.
because it's either so unfair or the timing is like the night before the wedding, you had somebody hand
Yeah.
somebody the paper, sign this or we're not getting married. Yeah, that's coercion.
Right. Or
So
where
yeah,
there's a
that,
big
you might as
power
well,
imbalance. Oh, sorry.
yeah, exactly. You might as well just go and burn that up because
Yeah.
that does nothing. That paper means nothing.
Yeah.
So
Or if you have a
there's a lot of
celebrity
things.
with their team of lawyers versus someone who doesn't have a lawyer on their side, then yeah, you can see where that's like a coerced, or there's the huge power imbalance, right?
Mm.
So
Right, right. And plus the embarrassment of like, if, especially the timing. So they told their family, their friends, everybody's at the wedding, and
right.
then you tell them that they have to sign it. And if they sign it, I signed it because I didn't want to be embarrassed and humiliated because everybody I knew was there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't
Yeah.
agree with it, but I just did it because, and that paper's gone. Like,
Yeah. Aunt Evelyn flew in from across the country. All these things were already
right,
happening, so I had to go through with it. Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
just sucked it up. Yeah, they
Yeah.
ripping that paper right up, and we starting over. And
Yeah.
you get at that point you look dirty too because you look like you trying to take advantage of somebody. But
Yeah.
these are like some of the things that I think about, especially like you said, when you're sitting there with the attorney between Cody Pass, Janelle trying to get an attorney for Cody Pass, and then Mary sitting there with her divorce attorney. Like
Mhm.
there's a lot of ethical things that were going on in that just didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was like you said, it was tough. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know how long you gonna be practicing law
Yeah. Yeah. You
if you
gotta
running
worry
it
about
like
that.
this. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they even had at one point when Robin was trying to get the custody of the kids,
Mhm.
they basically got on there and admitted to
Yeah.
extortion
Yeah.
with the baby's father. Like you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what
We'll
are
give up the
we doing?
and that's the thing, like the child support is to support the children. Oh, I'll give up
Right,
child support if he does this. It's like that you're not supposed to admit to doing stuff like that because you are a terrible
right,
parent.
exactly.
Child support is, if you don't use it to support the child, then put it away in an account for the child when they go to post-secondary or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just think, for those of us watching, if we're hoping for a big comeuppance legally, I really don't think we're going to see it. What I think is really going to happen is these people are going to go bankrupt after because like they don't have any skills. Cody might
Hmm.
sell his little whatever gaming parts at shows. He was terrible at selling billboards, which come on, like how hard is it to sell billboards? Like they're everywhere. Um, like they don't have skills to maintain their lifestyle after this show goes away. He hasn't built up any other businesses like based off of the show that will spin off and support their lifestyle. You know, he does cameos. Well, big deal. Like, how many of us are really buying those anyway? So,
Right.
like, their inflow of funds is going to dry up, and that's where they're going to get karma handed to them. From a legal point of view, I don't see it. You know, I don't. But that's me. Anyway, you know, I'm sure other lawyers will be like, no, we have a big fight and I'll charge you $500 an hour to do it. But, you know, I just don't see it happening.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean, that's the other part of it too, is that the extreme downside of everything that happened, because they didn't seek legal counsel earlier on, and
mhm,
because things weren't written down, then they're going to engage in what's commonly referred to as complex litigation.
mhm,
And once you get into that kind of complex litigation, as you handed out before, it gets very expensive.
yeah,
And then there's always a balance, you know. You know,
yeah,
you could be right, and then there's being right, and then getting a legal win. Like, you
yeah,
could be right all day, but if the person doesn't have enough money to pay you, a
yeah,
lawyer's not going to take the case. But at the same time, you don't want to be right, have a lawyer take your case, and then wind up sucking out all the money from your judgment.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because that hurts just as much. And after that, it becomes almost pointless for you to bring a lawsuit. Like, okay, yeah, I could win you $2 million, but it's going to cost you about $3 million in legal fees.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
The worst
yeah.
part of my job was when people would come to me with a legit case, right? Like, I had a client had a legit case, would have gotten about 5,000 in a settlement, let's say, right? But because of the
Mm,
nature of their work, to take off the time to fight it and be present for the hearings and whatever, he would have been out like 15. So it's
right.
like, look, between what you're gonna get, like, your judgment's gonna go mostly to my legal fees. I really don't feel right doing this for you. You know what I mean? Like, you'd win
Mm,
about five, but you're gonna be paying me most of that, and you're gonna lose plus like the time off of work and whatever. So, you know, like, an ethical lawyer will tell you up front, like, hey, you got to front me the money to you know, you're gonna have to front the money to fight the case. And an ethical lawyer will tell you, I just don't see you getting enough back out of this. Now, there's sleazy lawyers who will say, yeah, yeah, let's fight it, bleed you dry, and then you're left at the end of the day with nothing. But I don't
right.
wish that on them, you know. So, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen cases where I've seen cases where, I'm careful how I say this, but I've seen cases where um you'll have somebody who is involved in litigation, and they, like you said, they'll have like they'll feel like they're suing a big company, so they're
mm,
about to get a huge windfall.
mm,
But when you look at the case, one, the damage claim is way overrated. Like, it's way
yeah,
out proportion to what you're actually going to get. Like,
yeah,
anybody can write down, like, when you file, that's another kind of secret to the sauce. On the complaint, when people file complaints for lawsuits, you can put down whatever you want
oh yeah,
in reason, within reason. But you can put down, like, oh, I want $5 million, and this is
mm,
only really like a $30,000 case
yeah,
at best,
yeah,
right? But by the time everything gets shaken out, you go through, like you said, loss of work. You go through the medicals. You go through the IMEs, like the independent medical exams,
mm-hmm,
all that kind of stuff, depositions, paper files, the
mm-hmm,
filings, and all that paperwork and stuff that gets filed. You're paying for all that.
yep,
You, as the plaintiff, pays for all that out of your share.
yep,
So even when you have contingency fee agreements where they say, if we win this case for you, we'll take part of it, blah, blah, blah. And usually it's like, what, 30% if they're able to just take the case and settle it right off,
mm-hmm,
45% if they're able to uh, get some kind of settlement during mediation or whatever. If they take it to trial, usually around like 45, 50%.
mm-hmm,
They'll
yeah,
take they'll take their half. Like, you get 30,000, great. You get
mm-hmm,
the 30, they'll take their 15 off the top. Then you're
yeah,
paying for your doctors. You're paying for your the filings. You're paying for the medical exams. You're paying for the test. You're paying
Yeah.
for all that. And by the time you get done, like you said, out of that 30,000, you might walk out of there with a $5,000 check.
Yeah.
You know, and
And especially
it's sad.
it is, and especially when experts. So let's say they have to hire a property expert and appraiser to come do the land thing during litigation. Those people know if you're in litigation, they can, you know, they don't have to charge their cheapest rate. They'll charge you a
Hmm.
high rate, just like doctors will charge you a higher rate if they're doing for litigation purposes. So you know that's also going to cost a lot because an appraiser is going to be like, oh, wait a second, I don't have to give them like the friend discount. This is for litigation, so
Right.
I'm charging my full, full plus fee. So I don't know, these people have gotten themselves into a pickle, and we care more than they do.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, because of his poor business plans and his poor business savvy. They're just going to go broke after the show money is done because they have no other source of income that's going to sustain it. Can you think
Yeah, and that
20,000 just on housing? 20,000 a month on housing. Never mind vehicles. You haven't even eaten yet. Like,
right.
you guys have medical premiums there. I don't think they do that there, but I don't think Cody and Robin have medical premiums. But like, you got to think of all those other expenses you need every month to live, and they're over 20. Like, that's ridiculous. Like,
Right.
you can't, like, I couldn't sustain that. you know
Yeah.
most well most lawyers I know couldn't sustain that kind of lifestyle. Like, you just, it's not sustainable. So
No,
and
I agree. I agree.
I don't see him going off on any other shows, like, uh like any other reality shows in which he could make money. I just don't see it, or Sabina either, for that matter.
Right.
you know
Right. Well,
so
because even if they do, it'll be like the one-off show, like maybe a one-off season, like The Villains or something of that nature,
yeah,
or Dancing with the Stars. But it won't be another show that's consistent like the Sister Wife program.
yeah.
And then, like you said, with the because that's where I'm at. I think that the karma that people the karma that people will be looking for will
hmm
be at the end of the show
hmm
when the checks stop.
yeah,
Fortunately, unfortunately, very well may find themselves in a situation where they have the unpleasant reality where they have to go back and start filling out job applications.
yeah,
Which is a hurt piece because you figure you spent 15 years out of the job market because you're doing this show,
yeah.
and then only to wind up you're right back to where you started. That's crazy.
and
That's crazy.
and at a disadvantage because of your, Z-list celebrity or Z-list celebrity status. Some companies won't want to hire you because of
Right,
who you are and what you've done on TV. Not because you're polygamous, but because of, you're an a-hole, right? So,
right. Yeah, you
some
got an
people,
image that you carry with you.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's where I potentially see it, and I hope they cancel this show soon for that. I mean, goodness, there's enough other shows we can all watch as a group, and you know, like, even rewatches. I would do rewatches of like Seeking Sister Wife or something. Like, there's lots of other stuff we can sink our teeth into that would be entertaining. But
Right, right.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know how much more story they have left to tell, to be honest with you. Like, I think it's kind of circling the drain as we speak. Unless something crazy happens during the, I mean, there's a couple things I guess they could do during the last few episodes.
mm,
Then maybe it'll set a tender box off where they can roll into a season 20.
mm,
But if the season, like if the next 5 episodes roll pretty much how the last season rolled, I don't
mm.
know. Like they might get one more season out of the show and then it'll be done.
Oh, I have a great idea for Robin for one spin-off episode type thing. She could do like an episode of Hoarders and be like, why do you need, 25 dresses and 50 dolls and, this kind of thing. Like, maybe she could do that as one spin-off show, but there's not much that's left.
Yeah, it's a little light on the storyline. So I mean, we'll
Yeah.
see. And especially with them being as secretive as they are about
Mm,
what's happening, which
yeah.
they have been recently. Like all of them have been very secretive about like what's going on in their lives, which is their prerogative. That's their business.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make for good reality TV.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
especially with so many of the kids that aren't participating, which is absolutely their right. But it also means fewer characters to draw on for storylines. Like, because they used to use those kids' storylines so much. Even,
Right.
father-daughter dates or, whatnot. But this person going to school, this person getting engaged, like, if you don't have all those ancillary characters to support the main five, then, like, what is there to watch anymore?
Mm,
So,
mm. Yeah.
yeah. So I didn't think I was going to call in tonight, but the chat got me
Hey, here
going, your
you
talks
are.
got me going, and yeah, there's just, struck a chord. So
No, I appreciate you calling in.
yeah, absolutely. I'll talk to you again.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
All right. Bye. Awesomeness. 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 Yeah, we got into some good stuff. Yeah, I saw that. What's the name of the show, Jasmine? I'm curious about it. Oh, we had some. While I was talking, running my mouth. Brittany dropped in some love, 4.99 super chat. From your resident bookseller. Please support your local bookstores, budget allowing, when buying Christine's book. Yeah, I'm a big fan of, like, that's what I was saying, since Brittany brought it up. I'll I will pontificate or explain a little further on something I thought about before, or at least talked about before, with regard to like your resident booksellers or your local, buying local when possible. When you buy local from, whether it's booksellers, jeans, clothes, whatever the case may be, jeans, clothes, candles, whatever, that is an opportunity for you to keep that money that you spend in your community. And the importance of that is just this: if you buy something on Amazon, that money goes to wherever Jeff Bezos is. If you buy something uh, locally from, say, a local bookstore or whatever the case may be, those dollars, they'll take that money and spend it on rent. They'll take that money and spend it on something locally, and it benefits your community. So I encourage anybody who, if you have the ability to buy something locally, try to spend those monies, spend those dollars at a local bookseller. Plus, supporting small businesses, mom and pop shops, independent business owners, is a huge deal, because there are so many big powerhouses out there who are specifically designing themselves to crush the smaller stores, the small mom and pop stores. Not looking at Walmart or Target or a store like that, Lowe's, Home Depot, but that's basically what they do. Quick story: back in the day, um, Walmart and Target used to send people out to, when they moved into a town, like especially small towns, they would send people into the stores from their store. They would send people into these smaller stores to see what they had on sale, so that they could match those prices. If you're old guy like me or older like me, you remember that Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot used to all have this policy or practice called price matching. Sears and Best Buy used to have it too. And they were just in a big city, big areas, it wasn't as impactful, but for small towns, this was devastating towards smaller stores, because the small stores can't compete with the big box stores. When they come in there and they say, "Oh, you guys are selling bikes for $200," we're going to mark that bike down to $100. Even if the bike costs $175, they'll mark it down to $100 just so they can drive that business out of business. And that's kind of what was happening, allegedly. But that was kind of what was happening before. And even now, just as good practice, it really helps people on the local level if you can spend those dollars locally, just to kind of offset, keep those folks on their toes. Because after those big box stores, as we've seen, after the big box stores close those small businesses down, they stop competing with those prices. The prices go up anyway. So if you can buy local, buy local. That's my PSA. But let me give Brittany a little something, something, because of that excellent point. And I 100% support that. Thank you so much. And Brittany said, and another one, Brittany not Brittany with a 499 super chat. Janelle frustrates me because Cody's the same man who just ditched jobs to go running around with Mary and leave her to pay the bills. This isn't new. This is 100% true. As Brittany, not Brittany, is talking about, this was revealed in the first book that the Sister Wives came out with called uh, Becoming Sister Wives, where it was revealed that Cody would start a job or quit a job based on his desire to go somewhere. Like if him and Mary wanted to go somewhere, he'd just walk off the job and he would stop working. And this during this time, I think this is pretty much the time when he was living with Janelle in her house. So if he quit his job, he can't pay his bills. But hey, Janelle got it, so it's all good. Um, so they do have this history. So it makes it even more daunting when you recognize the fact that this is something that's been going on. This isn't something that Cody just started rolling out because Robin showed up and she brought this person out of Cody. It just demonstrates this is who he always was. So I think that's an excellent point as well. Let me give Pretty Not Pretty a little something. All right. But I think I said I was only going to do 2 hours, and we're at 3.5 hours now. So all that went out the window. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Let me just check something real quick before I close it down. Let's see. Can we also ask the local library to order it if there isn't a local bookstore? Yes, yes. I'm a big fan of the library. I got a few books out. I'm a big patron of the library. Love going to the library. The craziest part to me, just as a little side thing with Black Swan Gothica, what's crazy to me is that I've seen towns and townships, boroughs, and so on and so forth, where they will spend crazy amounts of money on basketball courts, swimming pools, talking about putting all kinds of stuff up from their local budget or town budgets, but they don't have a library. The libraries are so important, and just the I just like going to the library because I understand everybody reads everything online now and everything is electric. But for me, there's something about having book in hand, paper, and just flipping paper. Like I that's just how I prefer to read. Um, so I get it, but the library, free libraries, support your free and local libraries. So important. Like so many things, you won't miss it till that shit is gone, but it's important. Hey, the library, man, is something else. I'm a big fan of library, free libraries. So, Black Swan, you got me going. You gotta touch my heartstring. We have something from Lizzie B. Lizzie B gifted one My Take on Reality membership. Thank you so much, Lizzie B. I appreciate you. That's awesome. We give Lizzie B a little something, something. Huzzah, Lizzie B. Huzzah. Thank you so much, Lizzie. I appreciate your support. And then we have Jasmine Helen. Okay, welcome. Welcome to the MTR Almada. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you in the house. Make sure you guys check for tomorrow where we'll be dropping the Monday morning motivation videos for the members, and I'll be releasing that later on for everybody to be able to watch and enjoy. But the members will get a first sneak peek at the Monday morning motivation. So that'd be awesome. But all right, that's Cindy from Oz. Thanks so much, Lizzie B. Really appreciate it. All right. Awesome, awesome. Lizzie B in the house. So yeah, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. You guys keep me motivated, keep me moving, keep me going, keep me bumping, keep me jumping. So I appreciate you guys helping a brother out, support me, hanging out with me while we talk about our way through Sister Wives. We're doing Love After Lockup tomorrow. Then on Tuesday, we'll be doing 90 Day Fiance, the original, which aired on Sunday tonight. And then on Wednesday, we'll be doing Last Resort, the last of the last resort. And I still owe you guys the Last Resort video. Thursday, we'll be doing the Speak Pipe. So make sure you call in, leave your messages. We'll be going through the messages on Thursday. I'll be responding to them. It's an awesome time. Then Friday, got some stuff planned. I'm going to do the Ruby Frank this Friday coming up. Guaranteed, if not earlier, because I really want to get that video out. But it will be awesomeness. And guess what, y'all? Got some big news. Big news alert. Big news alert. Next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central. I forget what it is, PST. But that's what Google is for. I will be doing a live with the ladies of Reality Cringe TV. It's gonna be awesome. We got Dahlia and Beatrice coming through. It's gonna be amazing. We've been talking and communicating for a little bit, and we've decided to do Saturday. So I'm looking forward to talking to them. With hide your wife, hide your kids. For those who are familiar, we're gonna be getting down and dirty talking about some sister wives foolishness. So hopefully you guys can join me for that. Make sure you check the videos this week. Please subscribe, like, and share. And if you guys are watching and enjoying, like especially the 90 Day Fiance stuff, the Love After Lockup stuff, and the other videos that aren't sister wives, if you guys are into that and you know people who like it, share the videos with them. Help a brother get the word out that I'm doing that stuff so that we can try to expand that group as well. And we're not going to forget the Browns. So we're still going to do the Browns, and I might try to squeeze some more videos out. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications. It'll be awesome. I want to thank everybody who was in the chat, kept everything cool, kept the place nice and chill, just the way I like it, like a nice open refrigerator. Definitely want to thank the moderators, the mega mods. We had Carmel Cutie up in here. We had Brittany up in chat. We had Lizzie B holding it down up in here. Let's get them a little something, something. And I want to thank everybody who called in as well as a big shout out to our new members. Jasmine Helen, Buggers, new member, just scrapping with her member for 1 month. She got a 1 month membership badge switch. Awesomeness. And of course, want to thank Lizzie B for gifting a membership. Let me give you guys a little something, especially for my mega mods. I give them. All right, and now that we done talked to death about Cody Brown, and hopefully, like I said, bringing it back. Hopefully, when they do that baptism scene, we can say this.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
That's my take. I'm James. This has been My Take on Reality, and I'm out. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. See you guys